Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Cryptic.
Hello.
Adam.
Did he just do a hero?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Because he's so lonely.
Hold on. I want to do one too. Hold on.
Ooh woo.
Wait. How does that? Oh, hello. Wait, is that Mexican
No.
sounding?
No. You should be like. You should be like.
You get a gold
Órale.
square for trying.
There you go.
Andale, arriba.
Y'all horrible
Damn it.
people.
I want to be part of the team.
Thinking
Okay,
the L's into R's is not Mexican, bro.
They just turned the J's into Y's.
There's no J's in hello. Jehovah starts with a J. No.
Jehovah. And we will potentially be joined by Sora Luna. Then we also have a traveling exhibit for this evening of GabbyGeeWhiz.
Hey there.
And of course, as it is a Friday, I am the keeper, Sanguine. How are all of you doing today?
Another day in paradise.
Well, it's.
I heard
Friday.
that burn to the ground.
Oh,
Paradise? Yeah.
that's too soon.
Though, at the very least, in order to get to paradise, you first have to go through intercourse, so there's something at least.
I thought you had to go there by a dashboard light.
That
Oh.
is an alternative route.
That is-
You know what? If
Where
we
it
were
is
Guns N'
multiple.
Roses, we'd be Paradise City.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, wait, hold on. The Bible. You can go to paradise. I don't know. Shit. I don't.
Which one?
I don't know. All of them. Wait. Yeah, all of them.
Sounds like Paradise Lost right now.
Shit. Oh, wait. Paradise. Oh, wait. The plane. Paradise Island, right?
Yep.
Tattoo.
The plane, boss. The plane.
Oh man. Come on, we got at least two more paradise jokes.
Who wants to jump in with the next Paradise jokes? Yes, that's right, folks. For those that have tuned in early enough, this is the part of the show where we just start riffing off the word paradise for a bit.
I already made my morbid joke. It's someone else's turn.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Is someone going to mention the 72 virgins that some people are offered when they come here, or
Do it.
I like my Twitter account. No, thank you. It's not much, but it's something.
We're
it's not
live
your
yet,
fault,
right?
but it has a rather explosive end. And yes, we are.
Oh shit.
But yes.
Yeah. So wait, I think we were in the middle of the greeting though.
Yes, we were just in the middle of the general greetings of the hello, how are you doing? And Cryptic said another day in paradise, and we decided to riff off that for a moment. As we are wont to do. So, Adam, how are you doing today?
At least we ripped off the paradise instead of the hero, so
Oh no, we did both.
Ooh, oh. Nah, well, we didn't really dig too deep into the other one. We keep it classy here on the Minions. We're
Keeping it classy, keeping it sassy, keeping it real.
Says you.
Yes,
This is a
and
Friday
that is
night.
gospel.
This is a Friday night. I'm drinking.
oh.
Why are we keeping it classy?
Well, I'm lifting my pinky when I sip my tequila, so
Nice.
it's fancy.
I am
Currently,
lamenting that I didn't bring any alcohol. Gosh darn it.
Oh, that is a shame. Currently, I'm just imbibing a absolutely lovely Surly 15 Grand Cru, which you guys all know what Grand Crus are, right?
Yeah, big ships.
That's a Grand Cruise. It's a very different matter.
I'm not hosh posh. I don't understand your language.
So
Can't understand you.
A
Go
Grand
back to your
Cru.
country.
A Grand Cru is a sort of wild or sour ale. And this one is fantastic. It's, like I said, the Surly Brewery 15, which is a barrel-aged Grand Cru. So it has that nice tartness, but also that depth of, like, whiskey flavors that you get from barrel aging. It's amazing.
Mm.
Sounds tasty.
I just walked back from the bar. I had 2 glasses of what you call that barrel aged blonde, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was delicious. Too bad it was 14.5% alcohol, but
How's that too bad?
Yeah,
no,
but-
yeah, it was a nice sip.
If you
You
guys
know-
have tried Apothic, sorry to interrupt you. I'm just speaking
No,
of
you're good.
barrel aged. There was a Apothic Inferno, which is a red
Yes.
wine aged in barrel, like whiskey barrels. It's so yummy.
It is amazing for making stews.
I didn't cook it. I just drank it.
I cook with red wine a lot, but sadly, red wine does not agree with my head when it comes to drinking. I don't get drunk, well, mainly because, Gabby, you probably don't know this, I have what is commonly known as an absolutely fucking monstrous tolerance.
Yeah.
Can't
Adam,
relate.
Adam has experienced this firsthand. As
Yeah.
have a couple of the other minions.
I attempted to try and
One
try
for
and take
one
them to
for a
the
bit.
table, but didn't work out too well. Oh no! Oh no!
You know what the fun thing about drinking games is no one loses.
Hey, wait.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
agree.
everyone's a winner. Oh no!
Sora!
So hey guys, we need to
Hi,
not talk.
hi, Gabby.
I love your little avatar.
It's totally not. Thank you. Sorry, it's totally not like 7 minutes too late for the show. I was totally paying attention to time.
No
a
worries.
wizard does not arrive early or late. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, keep your secrets then.
we need to like not give Sora the satisfaction that you're late.
Yeah,
These
you know
boys
what,
were talking
Sora?
so
I'm
much
sorry.
shit.
Whoa,
so
And
much
hold on.
shit.
What?
Okay,
If you aren't willing to give, if
Hold
you aren't
on.
willing to give the woman satisfaction just because she came to it a bit late, I'm
Giggity.
starting to understand why there aren't that many second dates for you.
Ow! Ouch! Ouch!
I'm surprised at how readily this Gabby just decided to toss us under the bus. What the hell?
It could have been a joke, and you just outed yourself. That
No,
was-
we didn't.
Mhm.
But yes,
That'll
don't
please.
worry, Sora. You aren't that late, considering we haven't even made it through all the normal introductions. We've thus far riffed off of Hellro
He introduced
well
you before he introduced me, and you
as
weren't even here.
Paradise. Yes, I did mention you.
They
in
like you.
Minions.
I was honestly joking. I don't know who got ass mad. but-
Sanguine.
I always introduce minions first. You know me.
that is
That's true.
protocol.
He does. There is a method to the madness.
And we have standby mannequins for the occasion. So we had the Sora mannequin.
You have
and
the seat savers like they have in award shows.
Yeah.
So-
You weren't supposed to tell her about Sora B.
There's-
Oh
Can we-
yeah, no, it's behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, the B
You know-
is of
oh,
course
shit.
for blow up. It's difficult buying full mannequins. It's much cheaper going this way.
Now there's
you
a
gonna
whole other
introduce your
story about
girlfriend?
Sora. Oh my.
I'd be disappointed if it wasn't a blow up.
Is that
Oh,
one of your
geez.
filmography as well?
Oh no.
No, that's the licensed merchandise that you sell on the side. You know,
Ah, okay.
accessories.
Sure.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of which, I had top men looking into the lore that I believe Johnny Hellcat was talking about. We will uncover the truth of this.
Godspeed, sir.
But
Y'all
yes,
bunch
and
of weirdos.
Yeah,
So-
we are.
continuing
You're all
on,
weirdos.
continuing on with the standard niceties. How are you doing, Gabby?
Doing pretty good.
That's good to hear.
Hey, actually, since this is the first, nice to meet you, Gabby. How about an introduction? Who are you? Where you from? What you doing? What's going on?
Who are you here to kill?
Yeah, that was a weird fucking intro. I don't know. Fucking
Oh,
Sora
whole
wrote
life
that.
I'm just I've been around for a spell. Like I'm a little weeaboo shit poster who's managed to make some YouTube and online buddies. I am a recovering workaholic, and now I'm vacationing it up.
I
Was
can
that-
definitely
very
understand
nice.
that.
Oh, hello.
When no one wanted to work, I was working insane hours, and I'm like, you know what? Done. DUN done. I make triple time. Fudge it. Vacation.
Are you Sora like sisters?
What's that?
Oh
Are you a
my
Sora sisters?
god.
I don't think so.
I know you should be because you're a bunch of freaking workaholics.
Wait, does that mean that I'm suddenly now a brother to both of them? Because I
Yes.
worked 80 plus hours a week for like 3 years?
Dude!
There was
Same.
a serious
Yep.
mishap at the maternity ward when we were born. Then, holy crap!
Dude,
Yeah.
there's nothing like working 14, 19-hour days and sleeping in your office so you could close the store and be right there for opening.
And does that
Yeah.
mean that you're half siblings to me? And if so, are you descended from the dwarven half or the giant half, as is my lore?
Good question.
How tall are you, Sora?
5'7".
Okay.
I'm 5'5".
So
Yeah.
not dwarven, maybe midget.
Well,
Damn it. Hold on. So am I the
How is
shortest one?
5'7" a midget?
I don't know.
Well, the whole thing, Gabby, since I'm not sure if you're familiar with this lore, as I was once described by another fellow minion, Inquisitor, I am a giant Tolkien dwarf
mm-hmm.
because I am 6'1" with the proportions of Gimli.
I'm not Googling Gimli right now.
Wait, you don't know who Gimli is?
I
don't
recognize
know?
the name.
And
but
Lord-
I need the picture.
Lord of the
And my
Rings.
axe,
Oh
it
my!
still only counts as one?
Do you have the beard and everything,
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
dude?
Yeah.
Pics or it didn't happen.
Adam can attest to this. I'm a massive giant dwarf with a big beard, and I can drink anyone under the
But-
table.
Like
I think
a real
think-
classic dwarf that creates weaponry and
Yeah, like a
it
smithy.
lives in
Yes.
the mountains. Not Dinklage dwarf.
Oh,
Yeah,
That
I-
can't get over
speaking of-
himself.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Oh, no,
I've been
you were
following that
segueing.
mess.
You were segueing into the exact same thing I wanted to bring up. Speaking of dwarves, guess which one kicked the ladder out from underneath them once he got popular
Uh-huh.
Yep.
to go all
Oh, yeah.
fucking woke?
Yeah, I saw that there's a dwarven civil war going on, only it's not the Tolkien dwarf, it's the standard dwarf.
What was he proposing? Was it because I just saw that he wanted it more like he wants people like small people to have a say in the representation of it, but like what are they suggesting?
So
Because
the way that it came across to a lot of people was he was chastising dwarven characters like
They still because they
Willow-
still call them dwarfs.
But like
Yes.
it's like the characters in the story. It's just 7 of them that go mining in a cave, and
Yep.
they stumble upon the fucking Snow White, and that's it. Like there's no characteristics of like other than them being told that they're dwarves, like there's no, like all they do is they mine. And-
They're also
Dwarves that
fantastical
mine?
creatures. These
Yeah.
were not like humans who happen to be affected with dwarfism, which we
These
ended up
aren't
calling
just
dwarfism,
midgets
but-
that we send to the mines. These are proper fantasy dwarves' natural affinity for stone and metal.
hold on. Nobody's sending them there. They're singing as they go to the fucking mines.
That's their job.
They're happy to do so.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't understand
dude,
it.
dwarves have just been a popular fictional like characteristic like race for fudge as long as I can remember in fiction.
As long
I
as
mean,
I've been
shit.
alive.
I mean, if people can claim that orcs are somehow like representing black people, I get like I'm not
Oh my
surprised that
god,
they
I
it
forgot
took them-
about that.
You're welcome.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not surprised it took them
Take
this
care.
long. I'm not surprised it took them this long to go like the woke stampede.
Well, I don't know. It was just a little while back where they brought up the idea that J.K. Rowling's goblins, right, from the banks represent Jews, right? Like they're caricatures of Jews because like
what?
they run the bank and they care more about wealth than anything else
Yeah, this is
from Harry Potter.
This is something that I find fucking hilarious because they're getting everything goddamn backwards
Mm-mm.
when it comes to both the dwarves and when it comes to goblins. So, dwarves have been an aspect of mythology going back fucking forever. I mean, the goddamn hammer of Thor, Mjolnir, ended up
Mhm.
being, or was forged by dwarves. And you have all these massive stories from Norse mythology where dwarven characters were a mainstay. I mean, fucking Fafnir is a dwarf that turned himself into a fucking dragon.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, he made shit, kind of fucked with the gods. The gods went after him and he went, fuck you, I'm going to become a dragon, and became a dragon, and then was slain by Siegfried and cursed Siegfried with his dying breath and blood. But dwarves were a massive mainstay, and goblins are a massive mainstay. They appear in countless different mythologies from pretty much all over the Western world, and there's even things that we would describe as goblins from other parts of the world when it comes to their mythos. There's Asian goblins, effectively.
Whoa.
You're like the
Whoa.
Kappa.
Yeah, the Kappa being an interesting one, because the Kappa, of course, looks like a
That's a water
weird
spirit, isn't it?
frog turtle man with a shallow
Oh,
Yeah,
the
bull
one with
on
the
top
water
of
in
his head.
the.
kind of like a goblin creature.
Water
That's
on his head.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, knock him over, drain the water, you kill him.
Or just get them to bow, because they're ridiculously polite. So if you bow towards them and you bow deep enough, they feel obligated to bow back despite having a bowl of water for their head. Which is
Yeah,
just
see-
one of those, that's an intelligent thing to do. Okay, yeah, fuck it. But you have goblins from all over fucking the mythological world. Like I said, you have goblins in the various forms of the Celtic tradition. They end up getting slightly different names because they're all effectively either Fomorian creatures or they are kind of like a bastard of Fomorian and Fae. And for those who don't know, when it comes to the Celtic pantheon, the Irish pantheon, rather, you have the Tuatha De Danann, the children of Danu, that are the gods of the Irish pantheon. Before them
The
were
Morrigan.
yes, the Morrigan, the triple goddess of death, sex, and like 12 other things as well, which is either one goddess or three goddesses that function as one goddess. And it is very confusing which. And it's strange because they have that, and then they have Bríd, who is the goddess of the forge, who is also the goddess of poetry and speaks with a triple voice. But Briet is always one goddess. The Morrigan is either one or three that then merge into one to be the Morrigan and then separate. It's very strange, but fucking awesome. And before the Tuatha De Danann, you had the Fomorians. Then the Fomorians and the Tuatha De Danann kept on fighting back and forth. You had the Fomorian king, Fomorian chieftain, whatever the fuck you want to call him, of Baelor, who was slain by Lu, and then continued on. The Fomorians would keep on trying to invade Ireland. The Tuatha De Danann would fight them back. Sometimes the Fomorians would get the upper hand, like they did when they ended up having effectively Dagna at their mercy, and he had to eat from his ever-flowing cauldron. But every time, eventually, the Tuatha De Danann would end up on top. So you have the Fomorian, which are these fucked up races. And sometimes the goblin-like creatures were various forms of lesser Fomorians. Sometimes they were the Fae kind of interbred with Fomorians, because the Fae were the children of the Tuatha De Danann after they went to Tir na Nog, which is the realm beneath the land, because at a certain point the Tuatha De Danann were defeated and they were told that they had to live underground. Very strange, fucking fantastic mythology. I love Irish mythology. But then you also have the...
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. I love mythology in general. I can talk for literally this entire fucking show about mythology if I really just spurred out entirely.
No, I'm having fun listening to it. Yeah, like I feel like I should be taking notes.
And you have...
I'm not even trying to be
University is in
sarcastic.
session.
Don't laugh. That's a compliment.
You have...
That's I used to say that when we first started. I was like, yeah, Sanguine's hosting. You got to fucking bring your notepad out because you're gonna fucking...
Especially if it's anything science related.
Yeah, there will be a quiz anytime that I give a science lecture, of course.
And at the end of the show, we're gonna ask you some questions.
What exactly was the function of ATPase? But yes,
What was the specific goblin he was talking about? Specifically, 615 in the show.
You have these goblin creatures from all over the Western world, and like I said, also popping up in Asia. Creatures of very unified depiction, effectively. And then they're pointing to the... what's the name of the anti-Semitic work that they keep on citing? It's the...
Harry Potter?
Records of the Founding of Zion, or something like that. The Forefathers of Zion, something like that. Something along those lines, where it's something of Zion. And in that inherently anti-Semitic work, which no one's denying that thing is ridiculously anti-Semitic, they have depictions of what they claim to be the Jews. Do you know what they based the depictions of the Jews from that work off of?
No.
They went... Oh, go ahead.
Pumpkins?
No, they based the depictions off of the mythological depictions of fucking goblins.
Oh.
So now they're looking at a modern work that went, what's the classic depiction of goblins? And they're going, well, that looks awfully like the depiction of Jews from this work that used the depiction of mythological goblins.
Is that why people were mad at Goblin Slayer? Because I was wondering how on earth they even tied those kind of goblins towards Jews, and I'm like, how? How did you make that leap? They're not even really intelligent. They're just terrible creatures. Who looks at that and thinks of Jews?
That they got pissed off
Racist.
against ages ago when there was the rape of several female characters.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Slayer.
Yeah, the rape scene got everyone cheesed.
Yep, so they've had a hard-on for that, which, for those who aren't delving into mythology, goblins raping shit is as common as orcs raping shit. They are both...
well, okay, maybe there's no rape there, but I direct people to read The Princess and the Goblin books. They made a movie out of it. about how they like pretty things, so they will kidnap.
Yeah, there's
What I
very
didn't-
few things that have as much rape as classic goblin lore. I mean, it puts goddamn Candide to shame with the amount of rape in it.
What I didn't understand was when the whole Goblin Slayer drama came about, they were like, oh, it's glorifying it. I'm like, literally, the show's called Goblin Slayer. They're
Yes.
these terrible creatures that pillage and pilfer and, like, ravage, literally and metaphorically, everything. And, like, this soul dude's job is to annihilate it. How is that
Yep.
glorifying it in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, it is the classic evil people are doing evil things. Why I never. And it's one of the main problems with modern day storytelling. You can't have evil people actually be evil, so you end up with...
you have to have like, they're just misunderstood. No, have an actual freaking villain. People can like villains and still think they're horrible people, never want to meet them in real life. That's what makes it a good villain.
Yeah,
Especially in a fantasy series.
Mhm.
Sometimes you want a complex thing. I get that you might appreciate that. And other times you just want like this evil, like demon or whatever, and just, go slay some shit. That's what a lot of MMOs and RPGs are based on, dude.
Yeah, and when you're talking about... So, The Lord of the Rings is back in media as well and being talked about because there's the new Amazon series that's going to come out and is going to absolutely just shit on everything that was in the Tolkien universe.
Oh, Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ.
Have you not heard about this yet, Gabby?
No, my head already hurts.
So, you know how Tolkien had just absolute fucking libraries on the mythos of Middle-earth?
Yeah, it's a
And
very detailed world.
Yep, and he had the genealogies of over 250 named characters
Mm-hmm.
who begat whom and how far back their lineages can be traced and how many siblings each of the main people had. So they decided that after signing an agreement saying that they wouldn't do anything that contradicts the work of Tolkien, they
shat all over it.
immediately gave a character who is stated to have no siblings a sister.
I'm
Ooh.
not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Isildur has a sister now.
What?
Okay. Is it just so she can like shack up with someone and make babies?
No,
If
it's probably
the
going to be a Mary
rumors are
Sue.
correct, she's going to be a major character. A character that did not exist, was
Well,
made.
okay. So I'm guessing the rationale being is that the majority of the characters are like male in
Yes.
the series, right? Which is why I think it's why they created Tauriel and the Hobbit, just to have boobies.
Mhm.
And okay, and controversial as it may sound, I actually really enjoyed the love arc there. I'm a sucker for these kind of things.
No,
It's
you
so
didn't.
cute.
Get
Yes,
out
I
of here.
did.
You like
I
that?
love it
You-
so much.
you-
It
you
was
missed
so cute.
points.
And as someone who disliked Evangeline Lilly a lot up to seeing the movies, I really enjoyed her in those films. Take my card, all my street cred away. I don't care. I will die with that.
You.
The
But-
change
Get
that
out.
pissed me off the most
Get
when
out.
it came to that was they gave the
Don't
entire ending role of one of the most badass characters in all of the fucking Hobbit. The goddamn Bjorn the Shapeshifter. They gave all his shit to her and goddamn fucking Legolas.
I will agree. Legolas was a little bit of a waste in that bringing him back. But yay for love.
Get out of here.
Like I said, if they had kept it to her not taking
I may have shed a
over,
tear.
No, you.
What
Oh,
is-
okay. You know what?
No!
That's it.
they didn't cede
No.
all
What,
of
when he-
his
hold on, hold on,
contribution.
Hold on. When did you shed that tear? When he died, or when she confessed her love? When was
When
it?
he died.
Get out of here! You know.
If they hadn't ceded his entire role in the ending, because you guys all know The Hobbit and what that Battle of Five Armies, how the Goblin King was actually slain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he sang that goofy song.
The Goblin King, for those who don't know, ends up mortally wounding Thorin Oakenshield.
Mm-hmm.
Bjorn, this insane son of a bitch, goddamn magnificent shapeshifter, the bear dude, is watching this battle play out, and he's been saying, no, I won't get involved, I won't get involved, I won't get involved. He sees Thorin Oakenshield get mortally wounded, a person that he ends up actually having a sort of a connection with, and he just fucking, nope, fuck this, everything dies now. And he rages out and just goes wading into the battle to fucking kill the Goblin King because fuck you, you don't kill my friend.
I just didn't like how much, I mean, I get like Hollywood bases like every single movie off of what was popular. So it's like, oh, you know how The Hobbit is like not as adventurous as like, you know, the other trilogy, but like, you know, let's just make it more adventure and just like live shit up and make it. It was just ridiculous. I'm like, this is not the way The Hobbit played out at all.
Yeah, I was really hopeful with the first one. The first one I enjoyed. I will freely admit the first one I enjoyed. And one of the things that I actually enjoyed about it was something that I heard other people go, come on, this is silly. And I'm going, no, no, no. That part's amazing. The fact that they included songs.
Oh, I love that. That was fantastic.
Songs are great.
Well, see, and boo on the people who say that's silly because it's perfect. They are not only are they a group of brothers at arms, really, right? But they're like they're siblings, they're groups of families, right? All together, the traveling dwarves, right? And it makes sense. And in any sort of scenario where if you have to, you're refugees or whatever, you're traveling together, people create songs and stuff. It's one of the ways of bonding people, but also of comfort and just to have fun. So that actually fit very well.
And also in Middle Earth, it was a stated thing that the dwarves had a effectively skaldic tradition. For those who don't know what a skald is, it's a warrior poet.
Oh dear.
And the dwarves functionally had that skaldic tradition within them in Middle Earth. So the type of shit that would absolutely be immortalized in song are massive battles, defeats, victories. What did they mainly sing about? Massive battles, defeats, and victories. And it was absolutely something that throughout history it has been a unifying factor. You see this with the Norse, which a fair chunk of the Dwarven society was kind of based around the Norse and Celtic clan systems. And the clans had the bardic tradition, the Celtic clans had the bardic tradition, the Norse clans had the skaldic tradition. They're pretty much the same thing, just called by different names, and you slam those two together, and you have this same warrior, poet, singer thing going on. And it was fantastic that they kept the songs, because that was one thing that it was always built in the world, that, yeah, the dwarves, they are insanely industrious. They do ridiculous shit. They're greedy as fuck. And also they sing about it the entire fucking time.
Kitty, no. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to be
Kitty, yes.
No, I just had a random cat walk into my room, so you could probably hear the little guy.
I heard a meow. I did hear a meow.
But yeah, you have this constant back and forth, and you had all this interaction, and all the shit from the first movie was fantastic. And then the second movie came out, and they kind of cut down certain parts that were really cool, but it was still fairly decent. And the third one came out, and I'm going, the fuck did you do? But yeah, oh god, I heard someone open their mouth and start to speak.
Sorry,
Not
that
sure
was
who.
me. Getting ready to drink water. But go ahead.
But yeah, it's something that it's amazing when it's done well. And the first movie, like I said, was done well. The second movie was a bit
Kitty, no.
iffy, wasn't as good as the first. The third just screwed the pooch on everything.
No.
And there are some parts of the third one that I liked, like the dwarven heroes, the ones that you had followed throughout the entire series being absolute badasses in a fight. Yeah, they were effectively dwarven champions. And that's how they were in the books. Or in the book, rather. And that's how they were in the lore. They were dwarven champions. So them being absolute fucking badasses in a fight, fuck yeah. That's what people want. But everything else was kind of what the fuck? Like the fact that they went, okay, instead of it being the goblins led by a goblin king, we're instead going to just make it orcs. Why? And instead of having this amazing character with this ridiculous history and hatred for goblins and pretty much every race that came out of Mordor. I keep on hearing the fucking weird pronunciation that they've done since the new bits have come out, where they really hit those R's like they owe them goddamn money. And it keeps on being Mordor. And they just roll it for fucking ever. But he absolutely hates all the races that were coming from Mordor. The ones that were adapted from the elves by torturing the fuck out of them, and the dwarves by torturing the fuck out of them, and the humans by torturing the fuck out of them. You might see a pattern when it comes to the evil races.
You mean the baddies do bad things?
Yeah, baddies do bad things, and they were inherently evil, these races, because they were designed to be inherently evil, not just because, oh, that's whatever. No, it's because there was an evil deity in the world that went, yeah, all my siblings are making cool shit, I'm going to corrupt the ever-living fuck out of them.
I mean, that's what orcs are, corrupted elves, aren't they?
Yeah. Orcs are corrupted elves. Pretty much every evil race is, with the exception of the dragons, they were entirely made from whole cloth by the evil being. Then the spiders, the giant spiders, were somewhat corrupted, somewhat made just from what the god decided to do. And then the Balrogs are also just the evil god went, I'm going to make this shit. But the goblins, the orcs, and each of the other corrupted species were all, they took elves, they took the other races of Middle-earth, and he tortured the ever-living fuck out of them while warping their entire being. And went, I made this race. It's gonna fuck everything up. That was what the orcs were. That was what the goblins were. That was what every evil species within Middle-earth was. It was a, with the exceptions of, like I said, the dragons and the Balrogs and all those were actually created entirely. But the other main ones were captured, tortured, fucked up, and then let loose. That was their origin. And they were inherently evil because they were made to be inherently evil by this evil fucking god.
Yeah, wasn't it supposed to be a distortion of the, was it the Melinar, the Mat, whatever their ultimate creator was when they created elves? You know, the orcs came about as like a mockery type of thing, you know.
So there's a number of different kind of tiers of divine beings within Middle Earth. I wish Skep was on for this because Skep is really big into the Lord of the Rings, and
Is he really?
yeah,
Oh yes.
Oh, wow.
he's read
Part of a few. He's done a few streams going through the mythology of Tolkien too. It's very 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 interesting.
Yeah, he knows more about this than I do, and I know a fair bit when it comes to this type of shit, but he just has all the names off the top of his head without any goddamn issue. But the general premise was that Middle Earth was made by a number of different gods. It wasn't just one god. It was a number of gods. Most of these gods were good. You had the god of crafters, effectively, who was also the god of dwarves. He jumped the gun a bit because it was decided among all the gods that the first race to awaken was going to be the elves. And it was the Ainu, if I remember correctly, is the name of the gods. And the most powerful of the Ainu was Melkor, who is the evil god. But each of the gods, you had Iluvatar, who is the primary god and the supreme deity of the entire universe. He and the others decided that the elves would be the first race to be awoken. And he was directly responsible in the making of elves and mankind. While he was doing that, another god, like I said, effectively the god of crafters and metalwork, all that type of shit, kind of jumped the gun and made dwarves. But he didn't completely awaken the dwarves. He just made them and started going like, I like my little things. And it was found out by the other gods. And he went, okay, I know that you were going to make yours first and that they were going to be awoken. I haven't quite awoken all of the... Can I just put them to sleep and then bring them up second, please? I don't want to kill them. I like them. And Iluvatar and the other gods kind of went, okay, you fucked it up, but sure, knock them out until the elves come to being, and then you can bring them up, and fuck it, let's go for that. But you had all of the various gods that were teaming up, making this world. Then you had effectively a secondary tier of divine beings, which the humans came to know as the wizards. But they included Sauron, Saruman, Gandalf, Radagast, all of those. Each of them had an assignment. The non-evil ones, the non-originally evil ones, because each of the gods got their own beings that they controlled. So all the good gods had, I think, one or two each, and then the evil god had his one. His one was obviously evil from the fucking start, so he didn't join the council of the other ones. The other ones each had their assigned race. So, for instance, Saruman was the person in charge of the elves and their advancement. So as long as the elves were at their height, Saruman was the most powerful of each of the beings. And then you had Gandalf, who was assigned the humans and effectively the hobbits. So as the humans and hobbits reached ascendancy, that's when he became the White, because they were the most powerful race, and that gave him additional power, and also because he met some other criteria that was in the way that the entire world was made. And then you had Radagast, who was given control of animals who never really ascended because animals were just kind of always animals.
Nature is nature. Not
Yeah.
a whole lot you can do with that.
So he didn't rise in power, nor did he fall in power. He just kind of stayed Radagast the Brown. And he was looked down upon by Saruman because Saruman was so confident in his power because he was originally in charge of the elves, and then he got really big into figuring out how everything worked. So as that was what actually got him corrupted to become allied to Melkor and Melkor's chosen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool. And if you want a interesting villain that is really goddamn complex from the universe of the Lord of the Rings, Saruman. He's really complex. You can understand where he was going with things when you read the books, when you go through everything. It makes sense. It's fucking evil and it's fucking wrong, but you're going, I can see where this is going. Because he thought that he would be able to ally with the power, take control, and then guide everything to better solution. Because clearly he is so wise and so powerful and so strong, especially if he's joined by the others of his kind, then he would be able to direct the world. And a world under his direct control would be so much more peaceful, so much more prosperous, so much more advanced than any other setup. And Gandalf was effectively the exact opposite of, yeah, every now and then we should get involved, but it should be people making choices of their own volition. I am not going to force people to do things, but I will make sure that they are given the choice. So there was really cool shit when it came to all that. Fascinating. But going back to what originally spun us off in this direction, the reason why Goblin Slayer first came in, yes, that was the origin of all this. It was talking about Goblin Slayer, and before that it was talking about the goblins within Harry Potter now getting shit on because they matched the description of the Jews from the Chronicles of the Forefathers of Zion, or whatever the fuck that anti-Semitic work is that I don't really give a shit about its actual name. I just know it's something of the something of Zion. But
Breath.
The way that it worked out was the goblins, ancient mythological creatures that were commonly inspirations for various things. And yes, as Assassin of the Grey just quoted, there is only one Lord of the Ring, only one who can bend it to his will, and he does not share power, which was said by Gandalf the Grey to Saruman when Saruman was claiming that he could figure out how to control the One Ring, and in fact he had forged his own ring, because in this was taken out of the movies, but in the books, when Gandalf first goes to see Saruman about this, Saruman has given himself several other names. So he used to be Saruman the White. And then he, rather than naming himself as Saruman the White, names himself Saruman the Ringmaker, Saruman of many colors.
Saruman can't find his niche.
Yes, he claimed mastery of things that he could not master. He was the master of the white. He was the only white at the time, and then he claimed power over everyone else, claiming all of their colors, and claiming that he had power to make and control rings, none of which he actually had. Really good. If you haven't read it, what the fuck's wrong with you? Go read it. But
uncultured swine.
Yes, exactly. When you're looking at Goblin Slayer, though, Goblin Slayer got in trouble because of the rape scenes in the beginning of Goblin Slayer, because, surprise, surprise, evil things do evil things. It's almost like that's the definition of being evil, because are the culmination of your actions. You aren't that just in and of itself. You aren't good, and therefore your actions are good. You're good because your actions are good. You have to get
this
the
sort
order
of
right.
It reminds we actually had this sort of a similar conversation today at work. My coworker and I were just, I don't even know how we got onto this, but basically talking about there's, how fun it was when Germans were the villains in film, like, like Indiana Jones and anything like that, where it's not necessarily Germans per se, but like Nazis specifically.
Yeah, Nazis.
How when you are having any sort of action movie or anything where they're the villains, it's always fun. Like it becomes like a very interesting villain, even if it's like obviously outside of a historically serious movie where there's gravitas to it. But like in fun action movies, you root for the like bad guys to be destroyed because they're like, oh, these are good villains. We know they're evil. They're painted in a single stroke of these guys are it's black versus white. They are the dark character. They are the villain, and it was fun.
Yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with something like pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
like
it's.
I mean,
it's
don't
just
get me
good.
wrong,
It's just storytelling, right? It's just like you've got your protagonist versus your antagonist, and you don't need. I love a good nuance because that makes an excellent story. Being able to sympathize with the villain, but sometimes you just want this is wrong, this is right.
There's pros and cons to having like what you mentioned, a nuanced villain, or sometimes you just want a baddie to go beat up. Like there's nothing inherently like lazy or good or bad about either side of the spectrum there. Like don't just say it's bad writing to have like an evil insert like mythical race here or like a straight up evil dude here. Like just sometimes you're in the mood for one thing, sometimes you're in the mood for another thing. There's nothing wrong with either.
And in my opinion, the best stories kind of combine the two. You have the character that you understand their motivation and you know that they aren't inherently evil. And this is even the case when you look at the Indiana Jones movies, because you had the inherent evil, the fucking Nazis. There was never a redeeming characteristic of the Nazis in those movies. But
there's not a whole lot given to the Nazis, especially nowadays.
You typically had some other character who was known to Indiana Jones, had worked with Indiana Jones at another point, that you could understand why they decided to fuck over Indy. And you almost hated them more because of that. You had I'm trying to remember the name of the other archaeologist who betrayed Indiana Jones to the Nazis in the Ark. But you had that archaeologist who betrayed him because the money was really good. And you hated him even more because you're going, you don't even believe in this shit and you just sold him out for the money? Fuck you! But it was someone that you could understand. It was someone who he had motivations that weren't just, well, I'm evil.
Yeah, it wasn't an ideologue. It was just, capitalism.
Yeah. And you have this in other stories like... have any of you ever read the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson?
Nope.
No.
It is really good high fantasy. It starts out kind of mid-fantasy and then ramps up as the story goes. And it has a hard magic system. You guys are familiar with the distinction between hard magic and soft magic, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I remember you explaining it once, I think in regards to the same book series many, many streams ago. I will look it up to let you continue with your story.
I can just quickly cover it. Hard magic system has defined boundaries. So that is magic can do X, Y, and Z, and it can do X, Y, and Z by this mechanism.
Okay.
Soft magic is the magic can do what magic can do, and fuck you.
Spider magic, spider magic.
Yeah. So soft magic systems are the systems where no matter what the problem is, the right answer will always be, can't you just magic this?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Whereas
I'm sorry, I'm
hard-
just thinking of redo the healer.
Whereas hard magic systems are the ones where you're going, oh, it makes sense that he isn't just healing everyone around him, because if he tried to do that, it would have this cost and it would kill him. And plus, he can't even do healing. He's not a healer. He's the explosions expert rather than the healing expert. Makes sense because it has defined characteristics. It lets you know what the cost of the magic is, lets you know what the boundaries of the magic is. The Stormlight Archive, really good hard magic. Every person that can do something, it is defined what they can do and what it costs for them to do it. And in that, you have an evil god. You have Odium. And yes, Odium gives him an accurate name because Odium is hatred. He hates fucking everything, and he just wants to control and corrupt and have everything under his control because he hates everything that isn't. He is Odium. And then you have the good forces, which are the people fighting back against the forces of Odium. Some of them are good just because they're fucking really goddamn amazing people. You have Kaladin Stormblessed, who is this warrior of ridiculous ability. He was originally being trained by his father to be a surgeon. He's very compassionate, and then he was drafted and forced to fight, and he was just really fucking good at fighting. He hates being good at fighting, but he is really goddamn good at it. And he kind of has this guilt of people dying around him and him having to kill people and him failing to save people, so it fucks him up a bit. But you know that he's a good guy because he's constantly trying to save anyone that he can. And the reason why he hates himself is because he's failed to save people he feels like he should have been able. Really complex, fascinating character. And all the heroes are really fascinating, complex characters that you feel for. When they are breaking, your heart is breaking for them because fuck. And then you have the villains. You have Odium, like I said, an evil god defined as an evil, fucked up being. Then you have other evil characters. You have one character who his entire motivation is he thinks that Odium winning is inevitable. So the reason why he's doing what he's doing is because he's trying to save as many people as he possibly can. And he thinks that he can make a deal where he can ensure people are saved. So if the choices are everyone dies because this man's victory is inevitable versus I save some people while fucking over others, the answer is clear. You save some, right? So that's a villain that you have empathy for. You see where he's going. You see why he's motivated to do it, but you're still going, fuck you, it isn't lost. Can't you see how much you're screwing over these amazing heroes that are trying to do the right thing, that haven't given up, and you've just fucking given up and you're willing to condemn them in order to save your people? Fuck you. But at the same time, you're trying to save your people. Fantastic series. I recommend it just like I recommended the Lord of the Rings. You can have both.
What was the name of that series again?
The Stormlight Archive. Pretty much any of the Cosmere book series, because it's a effectively meta series of a bunch of smaller series by Sanderson, are amazing. And all of them have those really complex characters. And yes, it is the Quislings, the collaborators, the traitors. You can have those characters. They're complex characters in their own right, and you can understand their motivation. But you can also have just the fucked up son of a bitch in charge of everything. Whereas now, we don't even want to have the complexly evil characters. No. All the evil characters are just poor and misunderstood and abused. Cruella de Vil, yeah, she wanted to skin a bunch of puppies.
Oh, that frickin' stupid remake. Oh.
But you don't understand. Her mother was killed by evil demon
By a
Dalmatians
Dalmatian.
that are fucking ageless.
Seriously? Is
Oh, yeah,
that
the
is that
entire-
how that's how her villain arc started?
So
Yeah, they
the-
tried to make her hashtag relatable.
So the story
Boo.
behind Cruella, Sora, is that Cruella de Vil was the, I want to say, bastard child of the evil character, but she was raised by the help for this character. And the surrogate mother is taking her under her wing, making sure that she's okay, and then the evil bitch wants to get rid of Cruella entirely, and the surrogate mother kind of stands up and goes, "No, you aren't getting rid of her. I love her." And the evil bitch sicks her Dalmatians on the mother, causing the mother, Cruella, and the dogs to go over a cliff. The mother dies. Cruella ends up escaping. And the dogs somehow survive. So skip ahead like fucking 17 years or some shit. The dogs are still alive. Don't know
Okay.
how, but the dogs are still alive. The evil bitch is still an evil bitch. Cruella has now been brought up and is trying to change the world for the better, and she starts doing things, and then she is reminded of this horrible event, and she kind of fractures, and she has a split personality. So this split personality, she gives the name Cruella, and then
Because her original name is Estella, but she took over Cruella because that was like a nickname her mother semi-jokingly gave to her if
Yep.
she was being a brat.
Yeah, when she was being a brat, then she was cruel, so she was Cruella because she.
Oh,
had-
that's exactly the kind of nickname a loving mother would give to your little kid.
And then she sees.
None of this movie is
Devil.
healthy or good.
Yes, she sees devil. And because she sees the word devil, she goes, DeVille. And that becomes her name, Cruella DeVille. That's her alter ego. So she starts orchestrating everything, and she's been this noble thief that's just trying to right wrongs and take from the rich to give to the poor throughout her entire life. And she has her two assistants that help her, her two true friends in this world who have helped her. And then she remembers this evil bitch that killed her adopted mother, her surrogate mother, effectively. So she decides that she's going to take down this person, and she adopts this other role as the opposition to this evil woman and her evil devil dogs. And it's this entire movie about how, see, Cruella's actually the good person. And you're going, she wants to skin dogs.
Puppies. Like, I don't care how you try to rewrite it. Like, the only thing I enjoyed about that movie is watching a Jay Longbone's reaction to it. Like, watching her video was like the only way I got amusement out of that movie.
The cackling and what? When the EFAP crew were watching it was amazing. Because they were all just going, no, this, what, how? She wants to skin puppies.
Assassin of the Grey recommends a Critical Drinker.
I love
Critical
Critical
Drinker's video about Cruella.
Drinker's video on it is fantastic. But they keep on taking these characters, and they'll take a villain, and they'll want to make the villain understandable. Make it so that you realize that the villain is really just this good guy. Come on.
No,
misunderstood.
you can have evil people for evil's sake.
like the new Star Wars series, Boba Fett or whatever, like the Tusken Raiders especially. Like so
they rape,
like,
torture, and enslave people.
they have been canonically evil for decades.
Yep.
And like there's a brand new modern day TV series where it's, oh my god, whose video was it? Rags made a video about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good video, but just have one episode where this supposedly evil race might have a semi argument, and all of a sudden they're all about, oh, it's positive representation. I'm like,
Of what? Of who?
you know their history? No, it's not. What?
They rape, torture, and enslave people, but they're good, just indigenous folk.
But they went Tusken Raider rights, yo.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
That's my cell phone. Hold on.
Sorry, you started to say something.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Okay. So okay, fine. Say they're, I don't know if they are, the Tuscans are indigenous or native to Tatooine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of whether they're xenophobic or they're just whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't excuse what they do. You know, like we wouldn't excuse the rape and pillage of the Vikings and what they did to the Irish, Danish coast or whatever, right? Like you don't excuse that. It's a part of history and whatever, and okay, but that doesn't really make them. It doesn't make it okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a stretch.
Imagine someone glorifying the Vikings and like, dude, every culture has a fucked up like history one way or another.
Course.
The
Like
thing is that you could
expansion.
The thing is that you could absolutely write certain events from two sides and have each side seem glorious. A perfect example of this is you could have a story that was written about the Viking conquest, or more accurately, the Norse conquest of England. And you could have it told from the perspective of Alfred the Great and the native Saxon, or not the native, but the Saxons of the time, and how they were fighting against the Norse conquest. And you could have that be very compelling and have it told from Alfred the Great's perspective and how important and amazing all of what he did was. And you could also have the story of the Norse conquest being told from the perspective of one of the captains under Ubba Lothbrokson or Ivar the Boneless or Halfdan Lothbrokson. And you could have that be a compelling story where you're getting this. Yeah, it makes sense that each of these characters from these two separate stories believes that they're doing the right thing. Because you could have it where the Norse character is thinking, yeah, I'm conquering these lands, but a lot of the conquered people got some advantages from being conquered. Because there were certain things pushed by the Vikings that were advantages over what they had before, and the Vikings were also getting additional lands and getting additional resources. So it makes sense from their perspective why they thought what they were doing was good. You could also have the story from the other side, like I said, where they're viewing it as they're fighting back against these terrifying invaders that have subjugated their fellow countrymen, subjugated their fellow Saxons.
Yeah, like if you look at the English perspective, it's like these fuckers just landed on their shore and like took over villages and like churches and everything. But like from the Vikings' perspective, like they needed fertile soil for, you know, like farming. They also just, you know, wanted shit and expand their world options.
Well, hold on. Let's not forget that it didn't start that they were looking for land grabs.
I know.
That's how it turned out. I mean, I'm talking about later. Yeah, it started for the loot.
Yeah.
But they,
I mean,
but then they made settlements. I'm not
Yeah,
saying one came before the
eventually.
other.
Even with it starting from the looting, that is something that, from the Viking perspective, if you went fully into the Viking perspective, that could be viewed as something that is not inherently evil, because
No, it's just normal.
it's normal. And also, you could, to a certain degree, in certain instances, argue that they were being rather charitable, because they raided this area and they killed a bunch of people that tried to fight against them, but most of the time, if someone didn't fight against them, they left them alive.
They had a god of war. Like, fighting was also part of their culture.
Yep. And the people that they killed, they weren't murdering them and damning them for all eternity. What they were doing was they were killing them and sending them to Valhalla because they fought back and they had the nerve to fight back. That deserved an honorable death. So they fought, they won. It wasn't evil that they did.
No,
It was
well,
just...
Come on, man. It doesn't matter. I mean, the Muslims were justifying their warfare by saying you're outside the house of God, so therefore you're able to be, fought upon.
And
It's
religion's like one of the greatest sources of conflict, because everyone believed it's like we're doing it for their own good. It's like they don't want to accept it, but we're doing it to save them, not just like their lives, but their souls.
Well, whatever their justifications, it doesn't matter. I think the after effect is what matters. And in terms of the Vikings, a lot of times they themselves assimilated to the culture that they worked into. They started with sacking, but eventually they just they became that. And it's not even just with the British Isles. There's other areas in Europe where the Scandinavians came in and they assimilated and they adapted to that culture and they became a unique type
the people that actually successfully took over England, the Normans. Guess where Norman comes from? It comes from Norseman. The Normans were, at one point in history, effectively Vikings, that then settled in northern France. And became the Northmen, that then became, or effectively a version of Northman, that then became simplified to Norman, and then the Normans ended up invading England. What I'm getting at is, when you're talking about actual people, you can have really complex characters that think that they're doing the right thing. And if you tell the story right, then you can actually have that followed through. There are certain stories, though, that it does not matter what sort of perspective you take, it's still fucked up. When your high goal, your achievement, is that you want to skin over 100 Dalmatians to make a coat, there's no way to make that person a sympathetic character. They want to skin 100 puppies to make a coat.
But oh my god, she's like had no mom and there was toxic relationships and it was just, she was just having a difficult time.
Doesn't fucking matter. She wants to skin 100 Dalmatians to make a coat. Whereas, like I said, you can have wars where you can tell it from both sides. And this is something that we talked about yesterday with Terry. Hello, Terry. How you doing? And Adam was on last night as well, when I was talking about the portrayal of the Wehrmacht in Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, yes.
Gabby, do you know the requirements that the two main actors, when it came to Hogan's Heroes, that played the Wehrmacht had? The man who played Schultz and the man who played Commandant Klink. Do you know what their requirements were for their roles?
Negatory. No idea.
So, the man who played Commandant Klink had the demand that the Germans could at no point when an episode ended, have won. They always had to have come out as the losers of the episode, and they always had to be comical. They had to be the buffoon when it comes to the joke. That was granted, and that's one of the major aspects that made Hogan's Heroes Hogan's Heroes. The other major aspect, in my opinion, that made Hogan's Heroes was the demand that the man who played Schultz had, which was the SS could be viewed as completely evil, completely reprehensible, without any redeeming features.
Mm-hmm.
The Wehrmacht could not. They could not make it so that the Germans, just the standard German troops, were viewed as completely irredeemable.
Honestly, I would say to their benefit, no, I guess not benefit, but to their just to put a bit in there, there was a point where the Wehrmacht was fighting alongside allies to take down SS strongholds. I think it was in Sweden. I think there was like a castle or something like that.
Yep.
But also we had a battle plan for what would happen if we had to go and fight Russia, and I think it was called Operation Bismarck.
I think so.
Or
yeah.
Overlord, where we would essentially we would take the Wehrmacht and re-equip them and say, hey, now you're fighting along with us against the Russians.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was Patton's plan.
Yeah, good old Patton.
Patton's infamous for saying that he feared that after the war it would turn out that they had been fighting against
the wrong enemy. Yep.
Because he truly feared what the communists would do, and
here we
there's
are.
good reason for fearing what the communists would do. But like I said, the man who played Schultz had that requirement that the Wehrmacht could not be seen as pure evil, which is why Schultz was such a memorable character from Hogan's Heroes, because Schultz was this kind of lovable buffoon. How many people that have seen Hogan's Heroes, when they think Hogan's Heroes, exactly, cannibalistic cut me off where I was just about to go. Almost everyone that has seen Hogan's Heroes knows
I know nothing.
Because
I know that. I didn't know it was from that. Even I know that. It's
yes,
everything.
I know nothing is
I know
a
nothing.
line that is constantly said by Sergeant Schultz, because Sergeant Schultz will often overlook what he sees Hogan's men doing. So he'll see them doing something and he'll be going, that isn't allowed. And he'll just walk away. And then he'll be questioned about it later. And his response will be, I know nothing. And he'll be asked questions that he can't say the answers to Hogan and his men. Hogan will ask him a question like, what are the Germans planning on doing? And his response will be, I know nothing. Which, depending on how he said, I know nothing, would tell the heroes of the show either he did actually know something, or he legitimately didn't know anything. And the one that would tell them that he actually knew something, and the one that would often be said when he was questioned by other Germans, would be the I know nothing, because that was his panicky I know nothing. And if they got that answer, they would know, okay, we need to actually look into what Schultz has. And they would figure out shit that the Germans were doing because of how Schultz said, I know nothing. He was this lovable, bumbling prison guard that kind of liked the guys that he was guarding, And it was clear that he kind of liked the guys that he was guarding because he would laugh along with them and he would talk to them and do shit like that. So he was never this evil character. He was a German during World War II, but they made it clear he was not evil. And the only people that were really fucked up were the SS officers, the German high command. They were the ones that were fucked up. They were still portrayed as idiots because of Klink's demands that the Germans must always be idiots and they must lose every time. But they were the ones that were idiots that didn't have that charm, whereas Klink had charm, and he would be polite, and he had this kind of view of what should be done to prisoners of war. And it wasn't, well, we just kill prisoners of war. In fact, there were several times where it kind of looked like he was going to be ordered to do something like that, and he had this, no, they're prisoners of war, we can't do, fuck you, almost, to his high command. And that's what made that show amazing. And that's what made, again, I'll suggest it again for the second night in a row, for those who are here tonight and weren't here yesterday, Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit had those same two things, only not official. And I highly recommend it. Even though the director and writer came out and did a complete fucking heel turn afterwards, the actual movie, really damn good with that. They didn't make the Germans pure evil. They made the Germans brainwashed. But even brainwashed, they kind of had this sense because the Germans that were friends with Jojo were friends with Jojo before they were brainwashed Germans.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fantastic scene, not to spoil it really, but to give a very basic description. There's a character who had every incentive at that given moment not to help the main character. Because helping the main character would ensure that he dies horribly. He made sure that the main character was okay, knowing that it would absolutely seal his fate, that there would be no chance that he would be able to get out alive if he did it. He did it anyways. Because the main character is just a young boy.
There we go. And as Sazen said, it's a episode recap tonight.
Yes. At least as far as that bit goes. I've been ranting for a while. Anyone else want to jump in? Cryptic, you've been silent for a while. Do you have something that you want to jump in? Or Gabby, or Sora, or Adam?
I feel a little bit bad because I haven't seen Hogan's Heroes at all, so I was just listening to get the gist of the story.
I do like that our segue sort of meander through topics started like an hour ago talking about Peter Dinklage. And we never finished with that.
Well, because
we actually moved on to better shit with actual plot.
I know.
Is that where we started?
Yes,
think
that is
so.
where we started. We started with the Peter Dinklage being upset at the negative portrayal of dwarves in media.
Well, hold on. I have something to say about Peter Dinklage being upset about dwarf representation.
Yep.
Give me a second to let me lay down my thought processes here.
Go for it.
No, I don't. I really don't have anything else.
Ah,
He's
okay.
an asshole.
What?
Theory done.
Yep. The
The
thing that
title of the paper.
China
and
is
nothing
asshole.
nothing below it.
Get out of
Thing
Don't
here.
trust Peter. Peter, an asshole.
Yeah, the thing that pisses me off about it is he played a lot of bit midget parts. And this is one thing that I will give credit to
Yeah,
Warwick
but it was a little
Davies
bit.
about. Warwick Davies, to my knowledge, has never chastised other dwarves, midgets, little folk, whatever the fuck you want to call them, for
Hold on.
playing.
Warwick Davis. He's Willow, right?
Yes, he's Willow.
Yes.
He's one of the.
He's one of the
main-
professors of Hogwarts.
Yeah, he's
The
a professor.
Kitty,
Arms.
no, that's a
Flitwick.
cord. Stop.
He was Flitwick.
Kitty, yes.
He was
an Ewok.
one of the
He
Ewoks.
was wicked.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
And,
was the leprechaun
Yep.
in the best horror series
Whoa,
ever.
whoa. Not all Irish people are leprechauns there.
And Warwick Davies has been very firm on his stance of, yeah, sometimes you'll play just the midget part. But it will not be a heightening of little people or anything like that. It'll just be, yeah, you're dwarf number 4 because we want a little person.
But like, imagine
And-
if they actually casted like some quote unquote able-bodied people, like tall people that they CGI'd to be short. Then it would be all about, oh, they're taking roles away.
Hey, that worked
From so-and-so
amazingly for the Lord of the
disenfranchised.
Rings.
Yeah, they did that
People.
with the Lord of the Rings.
So there's no fucking winning with these people.
No. Well, once you understand that is the end goal, like there is no winning with these people. Like they are in a constant negative loop with their own arguments. So engaging with them you're never gonna be able to fucking get them out of it.
Yeah, and
Well,
the
I don't know if any of you guys have seen. It's one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid. Snow White, the Fairest of Them All. It's a Hallmark movie with Kirsten Cruick.
Wait,
Okay.
they had a small Snow White. Oh, that was bad. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
One
was just a little
seven
part.
dwarves. They're all different sizes, and not all of them are actually actors with dwarfism. They do have one of the actors is a tall, like the when the grump ends up being basically the grumpy character. He's he's an adult, and the other, I think Warwick Davis is in that movie too, actually. And you have if you look at all the actors who are the ones who actually have dwarfism, they're all known actors. Like you would have recognized them from a lot of different properties.
Yep.
And then there's one I guess normal sized actor as you someone without dwarfism there, and it's really effective. Like they all are different, and why not do that?
Yeah,
That they reflect a population. Everyone comes in different sizes. You know, you could be the child of someone affected with dwarfism and be and not have that, and just grow up to be 6 foot or something. You know.
Yeah, and the thing that, like I was saying, kind of drives me up the wall with what Dinklage was saying was Warwick Davies, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong. If anyone knows that I am, please do let me know so I can stop praising the man for this. But Warwick Davies has always kind of had this position of, yeah, sometimes you'll just play the midget part, and if that's the part that you have available for you to play it, because that might be the part that gets your talent recognized, and you'll just be cast because you're a great actor. Doesn't matter what part got you noticed, that part can be important. So you might be cast in a role that isn't specifically for little people because someone goes, did you ever see this movie? Yeah, the guy in that was fantastic. I know he's a midget, but he was fantastic. We need to get him in this part. And Peter Dinklage has reached that point. Peter Dinklage is famous because he played midgets. He played dwarves. And
I really do
realize-
wish the only typecasting was like, a lot of typecasting is personality, not necessarily like some are physical traits.
Yeah.
But yeah, like typecasting should be about like liking a persona, like, or liking someone's acting like range. Like Some people have a specific character that they play throughout different films, or some are so wide ranged that people are pleasantly surprised by whatever persona they adopt. But like, it should be about quality.
And in many cases, it is. Like, Christopher Lee was typecast throughout most of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had that amazing baritone voice that just was silky smooth and rolled out so menacingly. So if you had this menacing part, you had Dracula, you had the villain, you had Count Dooku.
And you know what? Christopher Lee took any role he could fucking get. And the dude's a badass. Dankula did like a 2-part Mad Lad thing on Christopher because he fucking earned it.
Yep, and he accidentally ended up in a porno. Because he was just paid to read from the Marquis de Sade, and he didn't immediately realize, oh, this is going to be absolute smut.
Well, because he thought he was just doing the voiceover. He didn't realize his whole body was being videotaped and that they would, insert that into the film. Dude, he was so mad. I mean, I would be too, especially like that was decades ago where that was a lot less accepted.
Okay, so what would be worse though? That or the what's his name? With the peas commercial. Oh shit.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember who the fuck it was.
Yeah, he's a really big guy with a beard. He has a
fuck was that?
Martin Brando? No.
Are you saying Marlon Brando?
Marlon Brando? Is it Marlon Brando?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember who the fuck.
I
know the peas commercial one.
And he did a wine commercial, I think, too.
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, yes.
No, Orson Welles ended up in a frozen peas commercial.
He's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
what the hell am I doing?
It was a commercial for frozen peas, fish fingers, and beef burgers. And he ended up being used in that. It was the Findus Frozen Foods commercial. And he effectively was going, what the fuck? Fuck you! What the fuck?
At the end of it, he's like, what the hell did I want? What the fuck? Oh, man. I just like, I like it because there was, in the 90s, there was a TV show called The Critic, and they did a good bit on it. And he's like, you know what? But before I go, I'm going to take some of these peas and some of these fish sticks. Yes. And it's like, oh. Fucking Orson Welles.
Yeah, there's a long history of just people appearing in weird things, and sometimes they do it knowingly, sometimes they don't. Like, love or hate the guy, have you guys seen the Tommy Lee Jones Boss Coffee ads?
Is that
Japan?
Japan? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. A lot of these guys have Japanese fucking commercials that are goofy as shit.
I love Japanese commercials. They're
not knowing what you're selling, kind of thing.
So the Japanese Boss Coffee commercials with Tommy Lee Jones are fucking amazing. They are some of the best goddamn commercials that you can possibly imagine, just because the entire time you're going, what? So one of them, or pretty much all of them, have some aspect of Tommy Lee Jones isn't human to them. So there's one of them where he's just walking down the street in the middle of the night and drinking a Boss coffee. And I think it's a cat or something like that screams, his head turns 180 degrees around, and he shoots lasers out of his eyes at the cat, and then just continues walking, drinking coffee.
Oh my god, I'm pulling that up before I forget to. I need to see this in my life.
And you're just going, what the fuck did I just see? And then there's the voiceover of Boss Coffee. And you're just going, I understand he was drinking a Boss Coffee, but what the fuck? There's another one where, like, he walks into, I think it was a factory making shirts. And there's just this massive bin of shirts, and he's looking very hangdogged about it as he's walking in. Someone's talking to him. He picks up a Boss Coffee. He drinks it. His eyes light up, and his arms just suddenly start blurring. His shirts start being folded and thrown into the corner. And then at the end of the commercial, it's just this massive stack of folded shirts or some shit. And he's just sitting down drinking the Boss Coffee. Boss Coffee. And you're going, what the fuck is this even about?
Yes, Kitty, that's my microphone. Stop. Stop.
Meow.
Sorry.
Tommy Lee Jones Boss Coffee commercials are amazing. All of them are weird. All of them are Tommy Lee Jones isn't actually human.
Yeah, I'm watching one right now on YouTube where he's like a teacher in a Japanese classroom.
Oh, shit.
And it's the oh damn it, what's The Substitute? That's the name of that movie series, right? Where it's the
Yes.
Yes. He pulls the substitute moment, only he throws the eraser so hard he gives someone a reverse mohawk.
What's a reverse mohawk?
Where it's shaved down the middle and long on both sides.
Oh no. They
Hold on,
parted their hair like the red
people
streak.
did
Kitty,
that?
cease.
Nobody did
I
that.
love you, cease.
It is the Boss coffee commercials are some of the most fucking hilarious commercials known to man. If you have not seen the Tommy Lee Jones Boss Coffee commercials, go watch the Tommy Lee Jones Boss Coffee commercials after this show.
I am
will not
linking
be
one.
sorry.
I am linking one into the chat right now for people to save to watch. It is very good.
One of the commercials.
Yeah.
Yep.
For this
Boss Coffee.
his teacher one of the teacher commercials.
Oh no.
Yeah, he just has a bunch of Boss Coffee commercials. And again, it's one of those things that just makes it clear why Japanese television and shows are kicking the shit out of American television and shows. Because there's just weird shit that you're going, I have no clue what's going on, but it's amazing. There was one show. I went to Japan when I was in college, and there was one show that I ended up randomly seeing in the middle of the night in Japan. And the best way I can describe this show is apparently there's a problem with a lot of young people in Japan don't know how to properly eat with chopsticks or what to do when they're eating a fancy meal.
Oh,
What?
So, yeah, they can use chopsticks well enough to eat, but they don't use them properly because there's actually rules to how you use
I
chopsticks.
think if you can get your food on the sticks, you've won, son.
what's the prize? You get
So-
to eat. Yes.
You get food.
There was this
Kitty.
weird, effectively Japanese game show that the people competing on it did not know that they were on a Japanese game show. They were offered a free, elaborate meal that they were taken into the room, and they just had to describe the meal afterwards, and they wouldn't have to pay for it. So a bunch of Japanese people were offered this, and of course, when you're offered a really nice meal that you don't have to pay for, and all you have to do is give a comment about how good the meal was, people were going, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it. What was actually happening was this was all filmed as they were eating the meal, and they were being graded on if they ate the meal properly, how their chopstick etiquette was, if they went in the proper order, all that shit. And it was one of the most weirdly fascinating things I have watched in my life, where I'm going, I don't even understand most of what's going on, but I get that they're being graded on how they eat this meal. What the fuck is going on here?
Well, I guess, I mean, the Japanese are very specific about etiquette, but I mean, so are Americans, and because you have to, like, sometimes, like, especially with like culinary tools, like, you gotta set your silverware a certain way, and it's just fascinating how elaborate just eating food in front of people can be, like the whole process.
But yet, none of them were told that they were in a competition or anything like that. So it was just them eating the meal, however they would eat the meal normally. And I remember at the end, it was just some construction guy who had gotten off work and was heading home, was offered this free meal, and was just like, hell yeah, I'll eat this, like, 17-course meal. Fuck yeah, I'm hungry. That ended up having top marks across the board because his chopstick handling was perfect. The order in which he ate the meal was perfect. Every single aspect of what he did in the exact right order, in the exact right way. And he ended up getting some massive cash prize for being given a meal while he was walking home from work and just hungry.
Absolute Chad.
Yeah. Like I said, Japanese television is amazing. Have any of you seen the Midnight Diner series?
I love that. Oh my god, I love that show.
Oh god, it's so good.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, I mean, it's on Netflix. At least in the U.S. I don't know if you guys are in a different region, if it's available. But it's literally called Midnight Diner because the dude's open from midnight to like 7 a.m. or like 11 to 7, and it's just like just a series about every single person who eats. It's like a different story every time about the different diners that frequent it. It's so good.
Wait, so is it like diners, drive-ins, and diners?
No. So the way that the show is structured is every episode is based around one food item and one or two of the people that come to eat at this diner. So, for instance, there's one of the episodes that's about yakisoba, which is stir-fried Japanese noodles. And the story is there's this one woman who, the guy who owns the diner has no clue who the fuck she is, other than she comes to his diner on windy days and she orders yakisoba. Turns out that she was a former idol and real big in music for a while, faded from popularity, and is now making a comeback as an actress. And it's about the role that she has in this new thing, and about how before she became an idol, her father just disappeared one day. And she was saddled with this massive debt and all this really depressing shit happened before she became an idol. She became an idol, ended up paying off the debt, then was becoming an actress, and the role... An idol in Japanese culture is a female musician.
Mm-hmm.
That
singing,
is...
acting, and all that.
Yeah, singing, acting, known for a very specific look and style. But the part that she had in the thing that she was acting in was she was kind of digging back into her past because the main character's father had walked out on her. And it was this fairly just, here's the story set up, but it's all based around this one diner and the meals that these people order, and then the story of each of the people.
Yeah, because each patron has their own favorite dish, so it explains their history. Like, there's the food critic who likes buttered rice. There's the Yakuza who likes the fried, sausages cut up like
The
little
octopus
squids.
dogs.
There's the ex-singer who likes pork cutlet. Who it's just you can go on and on. It's just
Yep.
There's a transvestite who likes rolled omelets. It's just different stories every time, and they're all really engaging.
And
Very cool.
each one, like I said, is based around a specific dish and a specific person. And it's just these interesting stories with amazing, amazing looking food.
Dude, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I
Hold on.
recommend.
Hold on. How else do you have an omelet? Aren't you supposed to roll them?
So there's the Western folded omelet, which is the way that you're probably thinking, where you make your omelet. Once it starts to set, you put your fillings in, and then you fold it over, right? That's what you're thinking. Correct?
Yeah.
Standard omelet. So
Yeah.
the Japanese have what's known as a rolled omelet. So they have a specific type of pan, a tamagayaki pan, which just means grilled egg pan. And it's this longer rectangular pan. You pour in your beaten eggs, you let them start to set, and then you flip over one side, but not all the way. You just flip it over a little bit. Then you continue flipping little sections of the omelet over, rolling it up into this log of an omelet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a ho-ho, but like an egg. It's kind of
Yes.
wrapped that way. Just so you get
Yeah.
the visual.
No, the fucking. Oh,
Just
you
so you kind of know
ho-ho
how the
there.
wrapping works.
Yeah, I
Yep.
get it.
And it's
I'm not that retarded. Shit.
just
I'm just
rolled
trying to help.
again and again until you have this nice, thick omelet roll, and you can have it savory or you can have it sweet. And the reason why I didn't just say female musician is because female musician doesn't surmise what an idol is. Idol is more than just a female musician, because idols, like I said, they have kind of this outward persona. So they're a female singer that has a set persona where they're like the cutesy one. Think 90s boy band, where each one had their persona. This is the bad boy. This is the cute one. This is the so on and so forth.
Sensitive one.
Yes, this is the sensitive.
This is the one where you bring home to meet the parents.
Yeah. So 90s boy band.
This one is the
roles.
definite gay one.
Oh my god.
What if we start talking about the Backstreet Boys? What?
I was
This
thinking
one's the fat
Menudo.
one. It's just interesting that his name is Fatone.
Whoa.
Oh.
I still love the fact that he rolled with it and started a restaurant.
Fat ones?
Joey's Fat Ones.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Did he really?
yeah, he has a hot dog place, Joey's Fat Ones.
Good
It
for
was
him,
Joey
dude.
Fatone, and he just rolled with it and made Fat Ones.
That's how you do it, dude.
Yeah. So they have a specific kind of part that they play, as well as singing, as well as it's really big in Asian culture. So you have Japanese idols, you have Korean idols, you have all kinds of different Asian idols. Japanese and Korean are the two that are most commonly known outside of their country. So, but yeah, it is more than just being a musician, because it isn't like, oh, they're popular female musicians like Britney Spears. No. It's far more than just being Britney Spears like.
They're
So-
also their culture around like the idol culture
Oh,
and everything is so much more different. It is marked, even if it's just like to us, say like, oh, they just look like pop musicians or whatever. It is so different how they're marketed to the public and how the public goes crazy or is manipulated to go crazy over them, that there is a distinction.
Yeah. It is an entirely different beast. it's really interesting when you start digging into it kind of as a third party, because you're just going, oh, holy shit. Because they take it to a fantastically Japanese degree. That is really the best way I can describe it.
There is no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And all of them do have absolute massive talents when it comes to it, but there's a dark side of it, as well as the really bright and happy, this is fucking cute shit that they do. But yeah, the Midnight Diner series, really good. Have you seen the Conjuro, or was it Conjuro or Conjuro? It's something like that. Dreams of Sweets. Because if you like the Midnight Diner, you'll probably like that one as well as the Samurai Gourmet.
I've heard of the first one, but I haven't checked out either show. I haven't heard of the last one you mentioned.
So, the Conjuro Dreams of Sweets, I think it might be Conjuro. It's one of those two. Dreams of Sweets is a businessman who has a guilty pleasure of sweets, and every episode's just about a specific sweet and him trying to hide the fact that he fucks off work to go eat. It is a very Japanese
like he
show.
tries different like bakeries and stuff.
Yeah,
checking out
you'll
new stuff.
hear about a bakery that has this one baked good that is really well known, and he'll go off and try it, scheduling his work so that he'll have an opportunity. He'll hear like there's a shaved ice shop that has absolutely amazing shaved ice, so he'll schedule everything in his day to go fuck off at the shaved ice shop, all while trying to hide the fact that he's fucking off of work to go eat.
That's so adorable.
Yeah, really funny, weird show. That Japanese food shows are just something else. There's really no other way around it. They are something else. And the Samurai Gourmet is another really good example of that, where the premise is that it's a man who has retired after being just a wage man, salary man, rather.
Mm.
So he's worked for his entire life, hasn't really relaxed, and now he's retired and having to figure out what he's going to do. He's really big into period novels and whatnot. Period novels being time period, not period as in the monthly flow.
Thanks, Sanguine.
You're welcome.
For
Figured that
clarifying
out.
that distinction. We didn't want to think he was like a porn actor with a certain fetish. Thanks for
Yeah.
clarifying.
He's not really big into Moonbloods or anything like that nowadays. He's really interested in the Warring States period and the mobility of the Warring States period. So the entire time he's going to explore different foods and trying to learn how to relax. And whenever he's feeling like he should be doing something else, he imagines this wandering Ronin, and that's part of the episode. It's really weird, strange, fucking fun. And again, every episode is about some activity or food. Really well done. I figure it's important just to make sure that everyone understood which way I was going with that. Spud gun.
Better safe than sorry, you know.
Yeah.
The degenerates' minds might wonder.
Yeah, people might hear that he's really big into period pieces, and they might be thinking, oh, so he's a Vox writer.
Oh my god, I forgot about their. Oh man, 2016. Those days were wild.
Yep.
Because there was the feminists who were painting with their period blood. There's some women who like make baked goods out of their vagina yeast.
Ew, no.
I can't.
You don't remember that, Sora?
I can't
I don't
make
remember
this up.
like the painting stuff. I remember seeing videos on like YouTube.
There was the gal
BuzzFeed.
who peed in like plastic gallon buckets to own Trump and froze him.
Yep.
Oh my god, Vox was wild, dude.
Wait, what?
The hell's wrong
Yeah.
with people?
The hell's going on?
I wish I had the imagination to like fuck with you and make this up, but sadly, reality
and you
stranger
know
than
what?
fiction.
You know what? I honestly believe it just for the pure nonsense that have been on the internet the last few years.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those cases of truth is stranger than fiction, which is why the Babylon Bee is having trouble making satire and not just future news. Like I said, I'm just waiting for the Babylon Bee to write an article saying, we apologize, we thought that we were hiring satirists and people to write funny articles. We did not realize that we had in fact been hiring a bunch of precogs and mediums.
I'm
We
sure
will
that's how some
endeavor-
of the writers for The Simpsons felt.
Yeah, we will endeavor in the future to make sure that we just hire comically gifted writers and not psychics.
No, Katie, stay out.
So, anyone else have a topic that they want to rant about now that I've managed to flow from
Hold on.
Dinklage to mythology to...
Exactly. How did we start this story?
So,
I'm gonna
No,
actually-
don't go backwards. We're just gonna like reiterate everything again. And we'll be stuck on Vox
and start over. Hold on,
grossness.
can I ask a question?
Because we,
What
Yeah, of
happened? What happened to Cryptic?
I
Cryptic,
don't
are you?
know, he's been quiet for a while.
Cryptic, did you pass out?
Well, no, because you guys were on a roll. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my nails, kind of deal.
Ah.
Aw. I know
Thinking
how
of
that
opening
goes,
your own
girlfriend.
salon?
Yes,
Oh, shit.
Cryptic
Ow.
nail salon, no,
Ow, my
though. Actually, you know what? My first customer will probably be Adam's nasty feet. So I'm about to put
Hey,
out-
man,
I'm sorry. Okay.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, I would fly over for a lovely manicure. Do you do freehand art?
Yes, and I also do the whole air foot hand massage, type of deal.
Oh,
Jeez.
got a customer for life.
Yeah.
Whoa, Sora. Is there a new video coming out?
Yes.
That's only if he does the standard side job of a nail salon.
Hey,
I'm
man.
actually. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna put it on OnlyFans.com/Sora Luna's feet.
If Nikocado Avocado can have an OnlyFans, I am not surprised by anything
Oh,
anymore.
dude. He has an OnlyFans?
Mhm.
Have you not seen his asshole on
I don't
Twitter? It's like
know. I
everyone
don't-
has.
Look, I don't.
It's one of those things where you're not expecting it, and it's just like, oh, Twitter for once is nice, and you're like, well, that's just on my feed because someone's liked it or shared it in the attempt of if I had to see it, so does everybody else.
Let's be honest, Sora. Only his boyfriend has liked his asshole.
It's true.
I thought it couldn't get worse than Trisha Paytas's,
Actually,
vagina,
no.
and it did. It got worse.
I
Oh,
say that only his boyfriend has liked his asshole, but then I just immediately remembered because my fucking mind and memory decided to betray me that he gave his boyfriend an STD after extended weekend orgy that one time.
That's unnecessary, sir.
Well, I had to suffer through that knowledge and memory, so now so do you.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
that's not
Sharing
how it works.
sometimes is not caring.
Yeah. What is this, Canada?
Misery
You
loves
wish it
company,
was.
and I was a bit too lonely.
Oh, man.
Okay. I think that effectively grossed everybody out.
Yeah, it did. I think
Well,
it did.
no, the comment that popped into my head probably would have, though.
No, well, don't share it, please.
Mm-mm.
Why not?
It
We've
was
talked
about
about pretty much
Canada
anything.
and
Let's just keep
truckers.
going.
No, what the no?
Honk, honk.
Let's just keep going.
You
Do
are
it.
you are a bad influence.
We've gone past the point of no return, but fuck it, let's see how far it goes.
It was just relating the fact that Canada currently has an issues with truckers clogging up all their roads and highways and byways,
Oh God, how are you gonna?
and how that's similar to Nikocado Avocado.
Yeah, there you go. And the truck stops and clogging, and there you go. Make your debauchery jokes there.
It's not our fault that people like to tap dance in bathroom stalls.
Hey, I'm leaving it up to you, a la carte.
I don't know what happened, officer. I just slipped and fell right in.
I fell on that cock. right
A
on top of
classic
it.
line.
Or to use
I mean, it's
the
from
more
Portos, but a classic line.
Classic.
or to use the more recent excuse, well, my watch got stuck on my skirt, so yeah,
Oh, there you go.
things happened.
You know when when they run the collections show on the Grammys, you know, one of the scenes is, oh shit, I slipped and fell on the cock.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Spudgun, I just mentioned the trucker protest, only it was in less than flattering terms. Well, I do have nothing but esteem for that particular protest. You guys have all heard about this recently, right?
Ugh,
No, I don't know what's going on whatsoever.
I'm sure.
I'm assuming sarcasm, given that this is Canadian
Yes.
news. Good. So, do you want to give the summary of what happened? Because I've been talking an awful lot.
From what and seriously speaking, I haven't been following it at all today, but the seriousness of the situation is vaccine mandates again. That's the crux of it, and forcing the truckers who are going cross border to be double vaxxed at the very least. And so in protest and in solidarity of those who cannot or don't want to, and the fact that these are truckers and they're either alone or with a partner in a cabin, and they're not touching the items in the back, right? They're just delivering them.
Mm-hmm.
There was Ontario, what do they call it? A trucker like brigade entourage. I don't know. There was a big. It was
walkout?
like a parade. I don't know what the actual term is called.
Confederation?
Trucker
Um,
convoy? some people
Convoy.
are calling
Thank
it.
you very much. That's the word.
School of truckers.
In protest,
Convoy.
right? And actually, Dr. Functional shared a story, or I think it was a tweet, where basically all the highway traffic,
Mhm.
you know, the traffic cams they got shut down so as not to show support. Like people were saying, like, there's no way this wasn't done intentionally to hide for the support of where the convoy is.
Yep.
Like you couldn't access the traffic cams that were run by the province. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a ridiculous thing that's happening right now.
Yeah. For a little bit more information about it, at least from what I've seen, if any of this is incorrect, please do chime in and correct me. I've heard that it was functionally every land access into Canada has been clogged up by truckers just in this massive convoy, and they're all heading towards the seat of government in protest, effectively saying fuck you about the vaccine mandates.
Mm.
So every access from the US into Canada is currently clogged with truckers, and truckers have been converging on the seat of government from all parts of Canada since this started.
Good for them, dude. Good for them.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, like honestly, like Sora mentioned earlier, they're hauling shit that's already packed and probably wrapped. They're either by themselves or just with one other person. Like, dude, just it makes. They're not even like nurses or anything. Where I mean, it's all still bullshit. But like, you might have an argument for like a medical field, but truckers, like, dude,
You don't really, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean,
shoot.
it's and the thing is that's the pisses everyone off is like this is in a lot of communities this is the lifeblood, right? You need these are the people who are getting stuff to you. Inflation's already so bad up here. Let's make it worse. Oh,
Right,
well,
the shelves are empty. There's product shortages. There's already so many other fields where people aren't working. Let's just fuck over the people who drop off the stuff too. Why not at this point? Here's a hand basket. I feel like who wants to take a Sunday stroll down to hell? I got a basket.
Yeah, it's
well, like,
kind of like
and a good example is my coworker's sister. She sent a picture from Walmart here, 4 inorganic, so just a regular tomato, 4 of them for $10.
Holy shit.
$10?
And now that is at Walmart, and that's in one location. It doesn't mean that that's the same in any grocery screen grocers you go. It's the same. But what the hell, Walmart, right? Like,
yeah, that's kind of like I think it's the local Republicans in my state have been doing something that I find fucking hilarious and also really goddamn depressing at the same time. What they've done is they've determined how much various common products have increased in the past year. And they've just purchased a shit ton of billboards around all the major highways that keep a running tally. So bacon has gone up this amount, and this is the greatest increase in the past X number of years. If I remember correctly, the bacon one is bacon prices have increased by 43%.
That was going to be the one thing I mentioned, yeah, because bacon here is like $3 or $4 more expensive than it used to be.
Yep, increased by 43%, and it is the highest increase in the price of bacon in the last 48 years. They had another one which was about gas prices. Gas prices where I am were really goddamn low a year back. The lowest gas prices in the past couple of years were like $1.60 something for a gallon. They're now $3.60 something a gallon.
Oh, that's cute. It's over $5 here per gallon.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's because you're in Cali, right?
California.
Yep. So you're dealing with all the taxes, and then you guys, of course, have heard about the California train robberies.
Oh, yeah.
As of late,
oh,
right?
yeah, I've seen the pictures too. Those are horrible.
And the derailing that just happened because of the California train robberies.
Did they actually derail the?
So
yeah, because they jack train cars, and then like they strewn about litter and garbage and crap, which blocks the rails.
Yep.
And it if you can't, a train can't really go far without like tracks without clear tracks, so it gets fucked up even further, and it is the fun that never ends.
Yeah, the tracks had become so just thoroughly trashed by the amount of cardboard boxes, plastic, and whatnot strewn upon the rails that at one of the major California interchanges of the rail, a train derailed in the interchange. And according to Spud Gun, it was a derail of about 60 intermodal cars.
I also have to point out Spud Gun. It's like, hey, you know what? At least we don't have any more mean tweets.
Yeah.
At least there's no more mean tweets.
And Terry's pointing out that the Italians must be very depressed And for those who don't get the reference, what he actually said was so many natives with a single tear in their eye, and the natives from the native man with the tear, the crying native from the commercial back
Was
in
he
the 80s.
Italian?
He was an Italian man named Oscar.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That would be something Terry would know. Okay, Terry.
Yeah, he knew about the crying Indian from the old environmental adverts about how your pollution makes natives cry.
Just one tear.
I wonder how long that's going to be allowed. They already got rid of the Native American off the brand of butter, Land O'Lakes or something like that. They had to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they got
Mold butter.
rid of Aunt Jemima off the syrup, even though it's based on a real life woman.
Yeah.
Is Ben gone? Is Uncle Ben's gone?
People
On
were
Uncle
kind of
Ben's.
the Ben's rice. There
Yeah.
was some hooting and hollering about it, but I'm not sure about that one.
Whoa, hooting and hollering.
So, out of curiosity, because of bacon, we were talking about bacon prices. So I looked up the
Mhm.
local grocery store. So if you want the really good bacon, which is the Du Breton bacon, which is unbelievably delicious, it's at $5.20 per 100 gram.
Holy shit.
That is like gold standard. Like, it's just the best bacon. But then if you go for kind of like Frybees, which is
The Oscar Mayer of the Canadian bacon world.
Well, I mean, it's okay, but it's Frybees. It's $2.80. Obviously, this is all in Canadian. Canadian. This is all in Canadian dollars. Per 100 grams, and then slightly Grimm's, which is give or take equivalent to Frybees, is $1 more per 100 grams. Trying to see if there's any turkey bacon is around the $4.50 per 100 gram. If you really hate yourself.
And for those who only speak freedom units, a pound is 453 grams. So
units of freedom.
She's talking about a quarter of a pound for the prices that she's listing.
Yeah. So that's and these prices have been basically the same prices for the last few years. So it hasn't really gone up that much. For this is all packaged bacon. I should also point that this is all pre-packaged bacon.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting bacon out of the deli counter, it will be cheaper a bit because they have specials, obviously. And also there's only one tax, I think, on deli bacon here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not, I don't know how it works. It's basically you pay, I think it's like you pay the government sales tax for anything, but provincial is depending on, or it's the other way. It depends on how processed the item of food you buy is. So like fruit or veggie will not have an additional tax to it, but if you get chips, because it's processed food, you'll pay tax on it.
Yeah, a lot of the...
I will never understand this. I can't be bothered to find out. It's just like it's not gonna make me stop buying something because it's like I have to pay an extra 18 cents, on top of it. So
yeah, a lot of the price listings that you find for bacon strategically cut off when they list the bacon prices. So it makes it difficult to look up proper prices right now. But a year ago, the average cost for a pound of bacon in the States was about $5.48, $5.50, something like that. The average price for bacon currently is up in the $8 to $10, with apparently the highest rated bacon price on Amazon is currently $11 per pound in the States. With pre-cooked bacon is always a bit more expensive. I don't understand why, because it's always worse.
Because it's processed. That's why. Because they've you're paying for the energy that cooked it, and the person that cooked it, I guess.
I kind of understand that, but I don't understand why it's a thing that people buy. Because the current going rate for that is between $32 and $45 a pound. And yes, there's the 2.2 pounds per kilos. The inverse is not correctly done, though, because he has 2.2 pounds per kilo, 1.1 kilo to a pound. It's not 1.1, it's less than 50% of a kilo.
Here's some fresh veggie pricing. So, and because these for this they do show by the pound, so that'll be easier for you guys to visualize that. So it's about $5 per pound for Brussels sprouts and bulk Brussels sprouts. But if you want to go for organic, one package is around $8 to $9. But a package is not a pound. It's usually a little bit less than a pound.
Well, I'm not shedding any tears over that. I hate.
How much
I
did
love
you say
Brussels
a pound was?
$5.
Holy shit! So
it's
pound...
for bulk. So obviously you choose. You don't have to go for a full pound, but like, I mean, it's Brussels sprouts. You're gonna buy at least $5 worth. So you're gonna hit that pound for like a family.
Yeah, dude, if you want organic anything, just grow it yourself at this point. Holy shit!
There's a lot of things that's not worth it. Like so $5 per pound. That's the non-organic.
Yeah, for
that's just
non-organic
bog standard, whatever. Yeah,
for non-organic near me. I just looked up one of the pricings. I just decided to go to Walmart because that's a good standard. It's less than $3 a pound for a 1 pound bag. Then again,
what the
you guys
fuck? This can't be right.
Over a barrel.
Listen to this. No, this has to be an error in typing, because this can't be right. Organic collard greens per 1 gram, $3.98. So it is $398 per 100 grams. That can't be right.
What?
That has to be an error on the website.
Yeah, that would have to be an error.
What?
Either that or your inflation rate on collard greens. Holy shit.
Like, I know organic is expensive, but man.
It's the price of food has steadily been rising, which is hurting me a fair bit, because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I rather enjoy food, and I rather enjoy interesting food.
Yeah.
I have seen some of your masterpieces on the Twitter.
Yes. So the price of food going up is fairly painful, since it really, for me, goes primary expense is rent, and then secondary expense, and not by very much of a margin, is food.
That always sucks when it's, you have something that's your passion. It's like, well, that's an expensive hobby I now have. And not only that, but you need it to survive.
Though
you want to eat healthy? Well, screw you, dude.
I am constantly amazed by how little alcohol seems to give a fuck about this. Since I like drinking, of course, as you all well know. And the price of my alcohol hasn't really gone up. Especially the price of... I use vodka to clean my cast iron.
Mm-hmm.
And I buy the cheapest swill imaginable. To give you an idea of how cheap the swill that I buy to clean my cast iron is, if I spend $10 for a handle, I have overspent.
How much is a handle?
Yeah.
A handle is a fifth, if I remember correctly. Let me quickly double check. It is 1.75 liters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wow, that's cheap.
Yeah.
But hey, it's
Priorities, inflation.
it's
priorities.
cleaning vodka. It's not drinking vodka.
Oh yeah, it is. Like I said, it is the absolute worst swill that you can possibly imagine. Not even right to pickle a corpse in it. Type, just unbelievable garbage. But it is really goddamn useful when it comes to cleaning cast iron. So, $10 for a handle of this cheap as shit vodka? Fuck yeah. And
I
that
have
price
never heard
hasn't
of-
shifted.
I've never heard of someone cleaning their cast iron skillet with vodka.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
You've been to hibachis and shit like that, right?
Yeah, is that what they pour on their grills?
Yep.
They learn
It's
something new
vodka.
every day.
And the reason why you use vodka is because it dries much faster than water. So you splash a bit of that, it evaporates nice and quick, gets whatever's stuck on the bottom off, so you quickly give it a scrape, you wipe it out, and then just leave it on the heat for a second or two after you wipe it out, and it's already evaporated everything inside, you're good to go. You won't have your cast iron rust. It is one of the best tips for cleaning cast iron that I have. And also, I keep seeing people have problems when it comes to cast iron because they seem to be confusing cast iron with non-stick somehow. I have no clue how the fuck this happened. But I see a lot of people saying that, oh, you can't use metal cooking implements when you're using cast iron.
Why?
Yeah, they're because he's like he mentioned they're confusing it with non-stick.
Yeah, with non-stick, you can't use metal implements because you'll scratch the shit out of your non-stick and it will no longer be non-stick. Cast iron, you can fucking do goddamn anything except for leave it in still water for an extended period of time, and it won't give a fuck. There's only two ways that you can actually destroy cast iron. And those two ways are, you have to let it rust completely through. And I don't mean you have to let it rust just in general, because rust, you just give it a scrub, you re-season it, boom, good to go, off to the races again. You have to let it rust completely through to the point where you touch it, you've just made a hole in your cast iron. Rust completely through. The other way is you have to shatter or puncture your cast iron. Those are the only two ways that you can completely fuck it up. And I say shatter because cast iron is technically a form of steel. It isn't a proper integration of the carbon and iron to make it even like a proper mild steel or medium steel, let alone high carbon steel. But it is technically a steel because it is a carburized iron.
Mm-hmm.
And it is carburized to the point where it has become somewhat brittle. It normally has enough uncarburized iron that it isn't really brittle, but it's brittle enough that if you smack it with a hammer hard enough, you'll shatter it rather than denting it.
And
So,
doesn't
yeah.
that make you want to do that right about now, you know? Science
Given-
experiment.
Given the amount of cast iron that I have and how much I love it, no, it doesn't. I like my cast iron. I want to maintain my cast iron.
I
And-
wouldn't touch what I have in the house. I fear for my life here. So
And yeah, another way to put a hole straight through cast iron would be shooting it, which I've seen someone do. But those are functionally the only ways that you'll destroy cast iron. Anything shy of rusted 100% of the thickness through, or shattering / puncturing it, is able to be repaired by just giving it a scrub, giving it some oil, giving it some heat.
and if you don't want to mess with the priming of it and all that sort of stuff, and you want just an easy cleanup, get the enameled version.
Though it is really easy seasoning. All you have to do is you take your cast iron, turn your oven to 200 degrees, stick your cast iron in. Once it's preheated to 200 degrees, pull your cast iron out, rub it down with oil. You want it to be just shiny looking, but no pooled oil anywhere. Then you want to use like a vegetable oil, lard, tallow, something high smoke point. Rub it down, wipe it pretty much completely clean of the oil just so that there's a little bit of shine. Turn your oven up to 400 degrees, slap that son of a bitch in with whatever side you've just oiled facing down, and you leave it there for like an hour or two. Turn off your oven. Let it cool down normal. You've just seasoned your skillet.
Or you can get an enameled one and don't have to do that.
Yeah, but then you have an enameled one rather than a nice, beautiful black iron.
Yeah, but then you can get an enameled one and they're beautiful, and you can get the outside enameling in different colors, and they're really, really nice. You can get a matching set, or you can get individual ones with different hues.
And then you could end up chipping your enamel and
If you're clumsy, sure. But just like you could by accident shoot your skillet.
I'm sorry. It is far easier to chip the enamel than it is to accidentally shoot your skillet.
I
I don't know. I don't know. I
weekend where
hear
you're
all sorts
drunk.
of things about you Americans sometimes, and guns. So I would beg to differ.
Yeah, you know,
Especially since
we're sitting there
shooting
licking
the
eggs, and all
enameled
of a
one
sudden we just
also
go.
fucks it up.
I think shooting anything kind of fucks it up.
No, if you have a thick enough steel plate, the steel plate doesn't seem to be buggered by it. Unless you have a really big round. And if you're popping off a 50 cal plus in your kitchen at a steel plate, there's greater problems to worry about than...
I said they were supposed to be over easy.
Instead, they were over sadness.
Goddamn. There are very few things, though, that are as depressing as when you wanted a nice, beautiful over easy or sunny side up, and it turns out the son of a bitch served you over hard.
Yeah. What do people have against runny yolks anyway?
It's
Like-
people that are worried about salmonella, and they don't realize where the salmonella is actually located.
Aren't
I just
eggs
don't like
in North
that
America
ooze.
all pasteurized?
Yes, but the problem is, so do you know where salmonella is located when it comes to eggs?
No.
Gabby, do you happen to know? Because I know you like cooking as well.
No, I never gave it much thought.
The shell.
So-
I mean, I don't like over easy eggs. I mean, when I cook eggs, they're all scrambled mostly, or they're
And-
like tornado omelets or
Shell.
rolled omelets.
Yep, Cryptic got it in one. It is the shell. It is not actually within the egg that the salmonella is. It is in or on the shell of the egg. So the main thing that would cause salmonella contamination of your egg dish or cookie dough or anything like that is if you, in the process of cracking your egg, end up having a flake of shell fall into the egg that you then pick out. That contaminates the egg with salmonella. If you've cracked your egg and you deposited your egg without getting any of the shell in it, nice and cleanly, then there's almost 0% chance of salmonella in your egg. It is on the shell because salmonella is from chicken shit.
You learn
Makes
something
sense.
new every day.
Yep. The one exception to this is if you have a double cracker. Have you guys ever had a double cracker?
No.
So every now and then you can have an egg that is absolutely fucking enormous. It's still a chicken egg, but it's goddamn enormous. You've heard of double yolkers, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
one egg with 2 yolks. A double cracker is when an egg has fully formed, but then somehow reverses path and goes back up. So a second egg forms around it. And then it gets passed through and out. So within your first egg, you crack your first egg, there's a second fucking egg. So you crack that egg. They're extremely rare. Double yolkers are far
chicken.
more common.
That poor hen.
Yeah. It's kind of like pushing out twins simultaneously.
It's a twofer.
Yep.
I've never seen a double yolk in real life. Like we've seen images and videos, but never.
I actually got one on Christmas Day. It was kind of fun.
Oh, that's nice.
It was my Christmas Day breakfast. I was making a sunny side up egg, and I cracked my egg in. 2 yolks popped out, and I'm just going, ooh, nice. There's actually a company, if I remember correctly, that they specially select double yolkers for one of their runs of eggs. So every egg that they sell in that group of 6 is a double yolker. But yeah, anyone have anything else that they're dying to rant about, dying to get off their chest? Like I said, I ended up talking for like half the show, if not more. So I feel bad, like I prevented other people from talking.
Oh, I mean, if you had, we would have told you to shut up. So
That's good to hear.
don't feel like you have. I just haven't been online a whole lot lately, so I don't know what's all new. Ethan's still being an asshole about Jordan Peterson. That's been going on for a while.
Yep. He's trying to pick a fight with damn near anyone because he tried to pick a fight with Joe Rogan and that blew up miserably in his face. So then he tried to pick a fight with Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's response was just kind of like, son, I'm disappointed. And he got really pissed off about that response. And he got really pissed off about Jordan Peterson's daughter's response that she ended up deleting to him. Which, did you guys see that by any chance?
No. What did she say?
Something about if you cut down on the carbohydrates, you'll be less of a jerk. It was something like that, right?
Yeah, it was. You guys all know Michaela Peterson's big shtick is the carnivore diet, right?
Yeah, I saw shorts on her. She was like she had a lot of medical issues and ended up by eating more meat she has less problems, something like that.
Yep. So as can happen, there's different people have different dietary needs. Some people are really able to process some things while others aren't. One of the things that pretty much everyone except for vegans for an extended period of time can process are meat products. Everything else, it can swing up and down how much you can process, but unless you've been a vegan for an extended period of time, you can process meat. Michaela Peterson had one of the situations where damn near everything other than meat caused her issues. But she could process meat, so she trimmed out everything else from her diet, only has meat-based products now. And by doing that, she got rid of a lot of the other issues that were plaguing her. Ever since she's been a proponent of the so-called carnivore diet, and been explaining that, yeah, it's not for everyone, but it's for more people than one would think. That if they just ate a meat-only diet, a lot of their problems would probably fade away. So
yeah,
it
it
is...
just depends on the disease or the medical condition. Like,
Yep. Depends on the metabolic peculiarities of the person in question. And she's said many times that it isn't for everyone, but for a good chunk of people, it is something that could work.
oh, what an extremist, man.
Yep. So, when Ethan started just going after her, or going after her father, rather, she responded back of, hey, you seem to be being an asshole and kind of going crazy. For some people, that's caused by carbohydrates. Might as well give it a go. As kind of a joke, but also it's her shtick, so she's sticking with it. To which he responded back, oh, real mature. Your daughter's fat-shaming me, Jordan. Are you in favor of your daughter fat-shaming me?
And he was just for literally days, like, ranting about Joe Rogan and his diet and his physique. Like,
He's still doing it.
it's like, oh my god, it's like, why are you like Keemstar? He had a video on Twitter. He's like, hey, like, you can't just go around insulting people's like looks and lifestyles, and when you get it back, be all butthurt. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna mock the hypocrisy of it, but you know what? It's not hypocrisy coming from me because I endorse that shit. Make fun of whatever the fuck you want, but when you're woke and you say there are these certain guidelines to being a good person, you can't just violate it and be all like, no, I'm still a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Oh,
Unless you're
well,
fat as shit.
in Ethan's case, oh.
Yeah, and that's a turn of phrase. This is an entire aside, but it's just a turn of phrase that always bothers me because it seems backwards, like someone translated it wrong. It shouldn't be you can't have your cake and eat it too, because that's the fucking point. Once you have your cake, you can eat it. It should be you can't eat your cake and have it too, because that at least puts it in the proper order. Once you've eaten your cake, it's gone. You can't uneat it and suddenly have it again.
Well, I mean, yeah, the phrase doesn't make sense. So we know what it means. Like, I don't know how it got to mean what it means, but we know what it means.
Yeah, it's just something that every time I hear it, I'm going, that sounds backwards.
Yeah, well, somebody's eating a cake and I want some.
Well, if I knew you were coming, I would have baked a cake. Learned to sing. Stop me, Hal. I just realized I referenced a game that probably no one's played. It's from the Journeyman Project 3. There's a slightly insane AI that the main character's name is Hal, and it just starts suddenly breaking out. I knew you were coming, I'd baked a cake, learn to sing, stop me, Hal.
Wait, what's the game called?
Journeyman Project 3. It's a game about time travel and fucked up timelines. It's kind of interesting, and it was one of the old FMV games.
Oh.
Somewhat Myst-like, but not as... What the fuck am I doing?
Oh, Keeve is yelling at us. It's been 3 hours.
Oh, so it has.
But has it? Not really.
Hold on. Wait.
It's just shy. It's 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. There you go.
Wait, who complained about it?
No complaining. Just
an observation.
yeah.
I played a game where one of the achievements is to bake a cake IRL. Send the creator a photo of it, then she sends you a code to get the achievement.
Did you manage?
That's
Did you get it?
fantastic. What the hell game is that?
I want to know too.
Yeah, I want to know what game encourages you to bake a cake.
And she'll know if you bought it from the store and just put it on a plate.
That's store-bought, you little shit.
I know sheet cake when I see it.
It depends on what store you bought it from. I may or may
if you
not
go
judge
to
you.
like a nice bakery and stuff like that, sure.
So, quick question. What's your favorite sort of cake?
Ha!
Chocolate
Even better.
cake my mom makes.
Even better question. Would you prefer them buying you a cake from a fancy bakery or crafting a cake on their own?
Depends on who it is. If they know how to bake, then craft a cake on their own.
Not if
So,
it. No.
honestly-
It doesn't mean who it is. I you know who I'm talking about. I'm speaking specifically to your specific other. You know, you're with somebody. Would you prefer them to get you a cake from a fancy bakery, or would you prefer them to make a cake on their own?
Like I said, it depends entirely on if they can bake.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, if it's who I have in mind, I'd eat it. I don't
This is
give
a
a shit.
bunch of layered questions.
You'd eat
so-
their cake.
Ah,
damn it,
weird. It's hopefully there's strawberries in between. Get out of here with that.
Cannibal is saying cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake's good.
So,
So
your mom's
I'm-
chocolate cake was what you said.
Yeah, for me.
I'm
What's
craving
the special thing?
tiramisu now.
Nice. What's
hate
the
you
special thing
guys.
about your mom's chocolate cake?
We make everything from scratch, including the chocolate syrup,
Nice.
the
You mel-
salt,
you-
and what I'm talking about, we're not
But you-
there's no chocolate chips being melted in this. It's butter, cocoa powder, and sugar.
Nice.
And we're talking about dark, there's no sugar in that cocoa.
And you,
This is
you go out
baking
there and
chocolate that's not melted shit. We don't melt
So,
shit.
Dutch process.
yeah, dude. I just imagine Sora's family out there milling the wheat and churning the butter.
You better believe it,
Like
Adam.
hurting the butter.
It's ultimate sport making
We're gonna
this
make this
cake.
cake.
It
Have
is the
any of
best
you-
cake.
Have any of you made homemade butter?
Negatory.
I shook those cream packets and thinking I was gonna make butter out of that.
Well, eventually you. Well, no, are you talking the non-dairy creamer or are you talking actual creamer?
Yeah, the little creamer packets.
If it's non-dairy creamer, you'll never end up with butter. If it's proper creamer where it's effectively heavy cream, you could if you shook it hard enough and long enough.
Yeah, well, nobody's sitting at a diner doing that.
Shake it. Shake it good.
Look at you jerking off some ghost or some shit.
It's
Hey,
almost
ghosts
like I'm
deserve
making
love
butter.
too, Adam.
I swear.
Sora, what number?
That's the Halloween special of 2019.
Okay.
It's like Treehouse of Horror. We don't really have like specific titles for those. It's just Halloween special.
Can you
Okay.
number them? Oh.
And Cryptic, did you say what cake you most prefer?
No, I don't eat a lot of sweets. So, but you guys, this is a kind of a condensed situation. So,
God damn it.
Haha.
Condensed cake?
Condensed milk.
Yeah, I was
for-
going to say condensed milk.
I love
For
that
me-
shit. I will eat it out of a can.
What is wrong with you?
Delicious. I also love powdered milk.
She's Canadian.
What is wrong with you?
It's delicious. It's sweet. It's sweet.
You're so disgusting.
Do you
You're
eat
not
the
gonna
powdered
really
milk
try
with a
it.
spoon?
we're milking this subject a bit.
Oh shit, man! If you give me any more lactose jokes, I'm gonna go have a bowel movement.
Adam, stop being lactose intolerant, man.
Oh.
I see what you did there.
For me, the cake that is my favorite is still the Irish car bomb cake.
What is the Irish car?
Ah, yes, the legend cake you have explained. That I want to try very much.
The Irish car bomb cake is the cake that I make for my birthday every year. It is a Guinness chocolate cake with a Jameson whiskey ganache and a Bailey's Irish cream frosting.
Damn.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
And I make it boozy as all hell. So the Guinness in the cake gets baked off because such is the nature of baking a cake. But the Jameson whiskey ganache, almost none of the whiskey ends up evaporating. And the ganache has anywhere between like 6 to 10 plus shots of whiskey in it. Then the Bailey's Irish cream frosting has, again, like 10 drinks of Bailey's in it. So
Yum.
if I make a particularly boozy Irish car bomb cake, most people can get pissed off just eating a few slices.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
We've reached peak pun. I don't think there's going anywhere from here.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know. If we
I
started-
don't want to issue a challenge, so
Is that
If we started talking about cheeses, then his puns might be good enough, but
Oh,
I don't
hold on,
know.
hold on.
Maybe
Let's
there's
not
an
poke
Irish
holes in
mafia
this.
joke in there somewhere.
Ooh, we might find a hole in your. Oh, got it. Okay, yeah, you're right. I can feel my my conscience is just sitting outside, like looking at me, like, dude, what are you doing?
You know what, guys?
What's wrong with you?
We might be over fun doing it.
Oh, get out of here!
damn it, that was painful. That was as painful as a good enough joke.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Oh my god, yo, this
Good though.
cheese is
Painful, but
the cheese is old and moldy. Like,
So we just found out what Sora's interested in.
whoa, wait, what's that?
wait, what?
Oh, I just out-perverted Sora. Okay. You said it was painful, but good.
Oh, whoops.
Ah.
Self-report.
Poor Sora. How did you get mixed up with these types of jokers? That's so bad.
I don't know. But I'm blinking
Yeah, we're the
3
bad influence.
times.
You know, Sora, this is the yeast of your problems.
Hold on. I was gonna say, you know what? I wouldn't put it past Sora because I've heard her say some pretty scandalous things before. So, you know, she's one of those you got to catch her at the right moments, and it's like, holy shit, did she just say that? Like, what the fuck?
I have my moment.
Aw.
So, you know, it adds clout to the stories.
It's the fun of the sweet, innocent-sounding voice with just, holy shit, you filthy bitch.
You know, all of a sudden, there's a videotape out
No,
there.
there's a
with,
reason
like,
we like
oh,
you
dude.
so much.
Yep,
Thank you.
that's bad.
But yes, it sounds like we're somewhat winding down, unless anyone has a last-minute topic that they want to toss out. Going once, going twice, 3 times doesn't... Adam?
Yes, I have an actually very important message to.
I swear to God, if it's donuts at the meetings.
Now that you've mentioned it, though.
Okay, let me
He has to think of a new joke.
so
Move that back to the bottom of the stack. Is there anything else?
the I have no that one. Let me just Let me just say that
Just mute your mic real quick.
I'm sorry, I seem to be going through a tunnel and I'm cutting out.
Something's going in the tunnel.
it'd be a lot easier if you guys didn't make me laugh. Well, that was a good show. This was fun.
Yep. But yeah, if there's no additional topics that anyone wants to toss out, then shall we go around the horn for parting words?
Let's do it.
So,
Go ahead.
Gabby, do you want to be the first to go since you were the last to be introduced, or would you rather be the last to go?
Hey, actually, yeah. Let's hear Gabby. How did you enjoy? How did you like your stay at the Minions show at the zoo?
I did, in fact, enjoy it, good sirs and madam.
Yay!
Hey,
Thank
I'm not a madam.
Please come back.
Again, self-report. No, I had a great time. Thanks for having me on, dudes.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Excuse me, my pronoun is dudette.
Do that.
I'm California. Everyone's been a dude for decades, dude.
That's a fact, dude.
and I do have to
Dude.
point out that, Adam, you would be madam if someone was drunk and missed the R.
You're madam. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Read your name, skip the R.
Adam. There's no R in Adam.
Mr. Adam, skip the R.
Madam.
Ma'am.
Oh,
It's ma'am.
Yeah?
Well, dude, you
You're
should.
just one drunk text away from being madam.
Yeah. That explains a lot of the texts that I've been getting lately. So,
I'm sorry, Adam. I didn't mean to text you that well.
well, come on, dude.
Also, you're one monkey away from being a damn.
Damn. I'll take a damn. Oh shit.
So, do you have anything else to add to your parting words? Now that I've thoroughly derailed you.
Negatory Ghost Rider.
So, Adam, let's go for your parting words next.
Oh, well, it was fun. It was fun chatting with y'all. Gabby, it was fun chatting with you for the first time. You seem like a fun person. I like your laugh. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
And of course, Cryptic is a good guy, and you gotta next time, Skep or fucking saying sorry, dude. It's a late night.
God damn, why do I always end up much older than I actually am?
Come on, man.
I'm getting flashbacks of Weibo thinking that I'm some Dumbledore-esque character.
Hey, cut me some slack, dude. We're pushing 3 hours. It's 3 hours. And but you got to give me some warning next time before Sora is on, because me and Sora have some history. So
I commented under you that I'll be on. It's not really Sanguine's fault you didn't
I
read
don't
it.
read that. Yeah, well, I don't read that. Come on, you know
Yeah.
me better.
Well, that seems like you're feeling to take some personal responsibility there.
Oh yeah, so it's my fault again, isn't it? That's how it always starts.
Sounds like a you problem, my dude.
uh, that aside, honestly, it's always wonderful joining the Minions. I love the Minions. You guys are wonderful people, beautiful people, great people. I love you.
I was not aware that we were being joined by President Trump.
Dude, come on! I'm trying to keep it together.
I'll run the fuck out of a muck with you guys.
Yeah, you got the. All right. No, but I do appreciate you letting me join the show, as always, I really do appreciate it. Both you
Always
and
fun.
Quizzy, deeply appreciated. But for the audience, and the panel too, I love you all, and God bless. Take care.
Let's go Cryptic next. If he remembers to unmute.
Oh, sorry.
Were you actually giving your parting words while muted?
Yeah, I was actually. You know what? I'll
Nailed
let
it.
y'all. Yeah, I'll let y'all know now. Okay, wash your hands not once, not twice, but 3 times after cutting peppers and peeing. Okay.
Oh, did you just get chili in your Jap's eye?
No, I did that the other day. But you know what? Besides that's still good advice. Okay. When
By that I mean the lower one, not the.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
hold
yeah.
on. You know
Wait,
what?
wait, what?
I got that. And you know what? Let's just keep going.
you know what? Well,
And then
when it
Jeff-
burns, it burns. And it's just the tip.
Have you guys never heard that phrase before? God damn, I keep on exposing people to new phrases.
What's the
No,
phrase?
but I kind of figured what you were talking about.
saying, dude, look at who you're talking. Like, yeah, the 2 dudes got it. We understood, but hold on, chili powder in the.
In the
Come on,
Jap's eye,
bro.
yeah.
But why would you put it down there?
Well, you don't try. You
Don't
just.
try, yeah. You cut pepper and you wash it, and the capsaicin is still in your hand.
And then
You
you
can wash
think
it good enough.
the best next option is to grab a hold of your honker.
Well, when you have to take a piss, you
Jalapeno
have to
hands
take
are
a
a
piss.
thing.
Fucking wash your hands
Takes a
before
while
you
to
fucking
kick
take a
in.
piss.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't even have that part.
So our
Woo.
Jap's eye is
Caliente.
the
And not
kind
in a
of
fun
squinty
way.
slit at the head. Let's phrase it that way.
Thanks for that, Butgun.
That is my parting word. It's like, if you think you wash it good enough once, it's not good enough twice. It's good enough 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
3 times.
Because just like
Sucks.
you having your good time once is not good enough. Twice is not good enough. 3 times probably is good enough.
But
You
That
should
is all.
you should use that dishwasher soap that they use to clean the oil off the ducts.
Dawn.
Yeah.
tough on grease, gentle on Jap's eyes.
Cleans the spices off your.
I'm imagining you with that little shower cap like you give babies.
Oh, get out of here.
It's a tear-free solution.
You're no longer allowed at the zoo.
No! Dude,
Yes, she is. I vetoed
almost
that.
3 hours. I almost made it.
You know what?
Now the only question that I have is which way would it wear a hat?
Exactly.
No.
I understand this is a burning topic, but we probably need to move on.
God,
Okay, so who's next on the goodbye list?
if
Goodbye,
that's Cryptic's
so long.
parting his words, then it would be Sora.
Hi. So I think it depends on the angle you're looking at. If you want it to be jaunty, the hat should be worn like right on the tip. But if you want to do like some funny old-fashioned, like use it as an eye, you have to do it from the side and like tie it around. No.
Sora, this
So-
doesn't help.
This
the,
is my parting words. I'm
this-
allowed to say.
I understand.
So
this,
if you're
but this
standing
doesn't
at
help.
full attention and you're taking the shot either down the belly or up, then it's right on top. And if it's just head on, then it needs to be kind of at a jaunty angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sora, this doesn't help the narrative of your squeaky clean background. This kind of just
I-
adds to it. It's like,
just-
oh, she knows some
can't
shit.
help
No. As many
Oh yeah,
people
she
have
knows
pointed
about the
out-
spicy. She knows about the spicy mushroom cap.
As many people have pointed out in the past, if you're going to send dick pics to people, at least make them amusing. Put on like a tiny top hat, and now you know the proper way to put on a tiny top hat. You want
Oh
to
my god! Hold on, that is.
But if you get a tiny
Genius.
top hat, you're
You
gonna
gotta
need
have
an
a cane.
opera cape
Yeah, no, you gotta have a cane and like
and a monocle.
and a monocle. Yes. Oh, shit. Yes.
The moment that you get a monocle, this is just sounding.
Make him look
This is
like
the
a
whole
fucking
theatrical
prick.
production at this point. And I'm here for it.
How do you think, lady?
What would be the other version? Like, I'm
So
imagining a bunch
dapper.
of skirts and petticoats
Oh, she shook her
Ooh.
long
for
stockings.
the wham.
Wait, now I'm worried because Gabby's turned this from what we were talking about to lady dicks, apparently.
No, I was just wondering what the other version would be. If there's a gentleman with a top hat and a cane for the dude, it's like, what
Well,
would the other
there's-
girl have for her?
Do you
It's
do you
it's an
remember
image
the
that's just black
vajazzling?
because it's nothing.
Oh
but hair.
no! Oh no!
It'll be
The
that.
dazzles. No,
Fucking
no.
Yes.
How come dudes get to have all the fun?
This,
Because we're
this,
dapper.
this conversation has gone to the balls.
Oh, wait.
Can we go
Speaking
back to
of,
cake?
Fat Gun says, do you make the balls a tiny pair of tap shoes? Yes.
No. You make them
Okay.
proper black and whites.
No,
Oh,
it's
with
whether
spats?
it's
Yep.
regular leather or alligator shoes. Nobody's tap shoes. That's a performative act. We're not
Yeah.
dancing monkeys here.
Which is
Ladies
why
and
I'm saying
gentlemen.
that you just go for the very classy black and whites.
Yeah, and a top hat and monocle and a
This
walking
situation is
stick.
nutty.
Yeah, and a dueling pistol too, just because.
Mhm.
Why not? Why not? While we're at it.
I prefer the concealed saber in a cane.
And you know what? The ladies can have a corset and
The thing is, Sora, that if you're going to be fencing, then it's an entirely different action when we're talking about this.
Okay.
Sword against sword.
so wait, so Sora, what was your parting words?
How the hat should be worn.
Oh shit.
Okay.
I didn't think you
I meant it.
There's actually a
Should
Twitch
we submit
streamer
to
who
that?
has a little penis plushie. Old man Sethis or
You know-
Sathis.
You know what, Sora? All this is doing is I'm sitting here right now. I'm typing in increase in
Yes.
pay to the top guys. Find that fucking video because there's something to it. This lady's talking about dicks with hats. there's a video out there somewhere, boys. Let's go find it.
If you do, I want to see it.
I want to see it.
But yes, I shall leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Good night.
Later, taters.
Nice.
Cryptic, you're still muted if you're saying goodbye. You're still muted.
Okay, whatever. Goodbye.
There we go.